why does Biden keep making it rain on Ukraine, but he don't want to give money back to the black community? We should never elected his motherfucking ass. See, he just uses for fucking votes. See, this is the reason why I don't vote. This is the reason why it's a two-party system. Two sides of the same motherfucking coin. They just use us. They just abuse us. They don't want to give back to us, but yet it was us who made you POTUS, bitch. It's fucked up. Why? Shut up. Y'all are so fucking stupid. First of all, Biden can't give no money to nobody, no foreign entity, nobody, without congressional approval. The real question is why are Republicans blocking legislation that would have invested back into black people? Why did Republicans block money to black farmers? Why did Republicans refuse to actually help when we had a shortage on baby formula? Why did Republicans refuse to pass the Build Back Better plan that would have gave us paid family leave and also would have extended the child tax credit that was lifting up 50% of black children out of poverty? Why do Republicans keep standing in the way of progress? Why? And why the fuck y'all don't hold them accountable? Why do you keep blaming Democrats for what Republicans are doing? See, the problem is Democrats don't mind giving everybody some motherfucking money. They want to provide aid to all United States citizens. The problem is Republicans says, hell fucking no. If this is going to benefit black people, we got to stop it. They saw with ARP what was going to basically happen when it came to the American Rescue Plan that passed, what it did for black people, what it did for black businesses. Oh, it bothered the fuck out of them. So they said, oh, we ain't extending this shit. Fuck them black children. I hope they starve. That's what the fuck that was. And rather than say, oh, maybe we should back Biden and give him something. Let's give him a 60 damn vote so we don't have to worry about a fucking filibuster in the Senate. Oh, but no, not only did we not do what we needed to do in 2022, but we allowed Republicans to take over the House, which is going to in turn fuck us over, because here's the shit. Here's the funny thing about that. When we default on our debt, the United States, your mortgage, your interest rate is going to go up, meaning that's going to be another unexpected fucking expense that's going to have to come out of your motherfucking pocket. Oh, motherfuckers going to lose their health care. They're going to lose Medicaid. They're going to lose their job. They might lose public housing that was cut by Republicans who want to negotiate and hold the whole damn country hostage by saying, hey, if you guys don't cut off social services, what we're going to do is we're going to blow the whole fucking country up. But because y'all asses don't think that, oh, this shit doesn't affect me, I can straddle the fence. Politics don't really affect me. Well, bitch, it's about to affect your motherfucking ass. Because y'all asses don't vote. I'm gonna need 101 million motherfuckers that didn't vote. That's a lot of motherfucking people, right? 101 million motherfuckers that were eligible to vote to get your ass out and fucking vote this time. Just give a fuck. Give a damn. And not me, but for yourselves.
Coming from a galaxy near you, this is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
That was passionate.
Yep.
Welcome to Brothers and Booze. I didn't hear any lies at y'all.
Not one. No notes.
All right. But what I didn't hear is me almost finishing this whole beer during that.
Damn.
I saw you sipping.
I was sipping like Kermit, like
Yeah.
right.
That's none of my business.
Right. It is, but it is my fucking business,
It is,
fortunately. Yeah. And also with my business is this Galaxy Smash. Welcome back, Casey. It's nice to see you.
Woo. Hey. I was like,
yeah. Man. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah,
No
and
worries.
this is a real quick. This is a Galaxy. This is a one single malt, single hop smash Galaxy IPA, and man, is this motherfucker refreshing. Mankato Brewing Company out of Minneapolis or Minnesota or Mankato or some. It's up in Canada. It's American Canada. Sorry, you don't have to claim any Minnesota, but if you're going to claim any state, Minnesota will be a good one, Casey. Actually, they're doing some really good things up there and moving some bills and creating equality and getting regular weed and
on a Minnesota related comment. I actually had a moment earlier this week, yesterday actually, as we know, was the 3rd anniversary of George Floyd's murder, and my Black employee network at work was putting together a statement for it, and we were just writing all the details, like kind of collaborating, and I was looking at the details of it, and someone had written, when Philadelphia police officer Derek Chauvin, I'm like, Philadelphia. Like, this doesn't feel right. And I'm like, that sounds wrong. So I had to I sent them a short email back being like, so everyone, as the official Black Employee Network of our government, if we're gonna send out a statement about this and get the whole ass city wrong, maybe don't send it out.
Right.
We got it.
That's something us Americans would do, right, Doug?
Yes. Now the thing is, somebody probably died at the hand of the cops in Philly. Many someones. So maybe they're not entirely wrong. They just had the wrong person. So wrong.
Yeah. Wrong person, same outcome. Damn.
But what I hope is not unfortunate is what Doug's drinking.
I don't think it will be. I haven't had it yet, but this I saw and I had to pick it up. This is an oaked Märzen lager. So I thought that sounded fucking pretty cool. Basically, it's called Lily Marlene from after Marlene Dietrich, who did a bunch of anti-Nazi songs back in the war effort. So in World War II. So
opening for y'all. Opening is I call him my friend. I don't know him from anybody, but like I've been watching his videos, Too Raw, Too Real, on Twitter and on that TikTok thing that I never click on anybody's links for. Doug, including you, Doug. Anyway.
Yeah, I said you and then like Greg's not gonna watch that.
I don't know. It's just a brain freeze. Anyway, Doug, that's sounds like a barrel-aged Oktoberfest is what I'm hearing.
Well,
kind of boiling it down.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. It says oat, but it doesn't mention anything about barrel aging, so I don't know.
Oh no. That's different. You're right.
So, but by the way, Daniel, this is from Warhorse, which is in upstate New York, so you probably can get it.
I got the Oktoberfest part right, but anyway. All right, learning is half the battle, Casey.
That is
all right. I told you guys I had one beer available in my house right now. There's a moment where I could have gone out earlier and probably got some more, but as I was telling Doug earlier, my family, I don't want to say they abandoned me because I don't mind. Like they left and then just like, all right, cool. But
even if you mind, it still could be abandonment. But hold on, Doug. What was that? What was up with that Marzen real quick?
This is really caramelly, really good. A little sweeter than Märzen's a fairly sweet beer, but this is a little sweeter than normal for me.
Are you getting the oak?
Very, very little. So yeah. Okay. But cheers to you folks.
Cheers. And I'm gonna bet that Casey has a sour.
Could be. I don't think it actually is this time. So
what?
You're not too far off. You're not too, let's not lie here. Like you guys are still in the same wheelhouse.
All right.
So from Redline Brewhouse, which is actually north of the city in Barrie, Ontario, so about an hour's drive north of Toronto. It is Top Down, which is a lemonade shandy at a 4.2. So we're gonna see how it goes. I had a friend brought it over when we had them for a Mother's Day barbecue. So it's been sitting in my fridge for a couple weeks. As you guys know, I haven't been drinking as much lately. So I just kind of have a random assortment of stuff. I had to do a bit of a sacrilegious pour out the other day because I had some things that were probably over a year old. But I was like, all right, well, this has to happen.
Unless they're stouts, you probably are better off pouring it out of here.
Yeah.
Look at that. That looks lovely.
Nice color here. And salud.
Salud.
It's a good lemonade shandy. I've had, I think we have, I don't know if you guys have the same problem down there, but we do have a bunch of breweries who use a lot of artificial syrups and flavoring up here. So for it not to be that, I'm a very happy camper right now. This is good. It goes down. It's a nice summery beer.
Yeah, that happens down here too.
Well, this is another area where Americans kind of set the trend. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, is beer really. We've stolen pretty much all the great ideas from Europe at this point, and
that's fair.
And we've made them bigger and badder, and sometimes blacker, and
sometimes worse.
But yeah, because bigger and badder does not always equal better. and I didn't say better, Doug. Notice that.
Batter.
Right.
Batter could be interpreted a few ways.
Right. Batter can be good or bad. Right. And that's kind of where we're at with American Beer, and that's a good thing. And Canada copies us more than we copy Canada, I believe. I think that's unfortunate for y'all. Maybe I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And maybe it's probably more unfortunate for y'all than anything. I mean, we do give off we got some good qualities here, but like our bad ones are anyway. Casey, what has been going on? Nobody probably wants to hear what's going on with Doug and I. They do not tune into the stream for that. I can almost prove that shit. Okay.
You got it. Metrics.
But they do tune in for you. And again, we got big numbers for Casey. No one knew he was going to be here. But once the stream gets a sniff of Casey, those numbers go up. Yeah. So we need to talk to you. No, it's the truth, though. It's the truth.
I didn't call you a liar.
Okay. I'm just throwing balls and strikes here, but what's been going on, man? We haven't seen you for a while. We always love your appearances, and again, like I said, our audience clearly loves it too. So what's going on, man?
I love the crew over here too. This is why when you guys need someone in a pinch, I'm just kind of like, let's do this. This is the gang. I love that over here.
Yeah.
I just finished up my 19th role in government the government of Ontario in the 16 years I've been with them. So I'm just kind of wrapping things up and getting ready for my next job. It was a crazy job. This one was like really, really nuts, and 22 months there, and I had a really nice send off. I made more of an impact there than I thought I would, which was good. And thank you, Daniel. I also, over the last 9 months or so, have been really committed to just kind of losing weight. I found out at one point around Christmas time that I was both pre-diabetic and pre-hypertension. So I needed to make some changes and kind of just went cold turkey on a whole lot of stuff and lost like 25 to 30 pounds now. And things are better. My doctor is happy with the progress, and I'm going to be here telling horrible jokes to my children for a very long time. So things have been good. A lot of changes, but I'm in my flow of my new lifestyle now, and I've I changed jobs for a couple of reasons, but one of them is that the new director I'll be working under is just really supportive of growth and progress and making sure I can get where I'm trying to get in my career. And I could tell he was the right guy to work for when I was, getting ready to move to the new job. And he's like, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a week off before you start this new job. I was like, Burr? It's like, yeah, you worked your ass off in this last job and you're fried. Please take a week off, go do you, and come join us on June 5th. And I was like, I like it already. This is good, and it's nice. It's like it's a 20-minute door-to-door commute by subway. When winter comes, and winter sucks up here, I have to be outside for a total of 3 minutes just to get to the subway. The building has an underground entrance that connects to the subway, so everything's looking okay. It's gonna be a 40-person team, yet somehow probably less busy. It's like double the people to look after, but like half the people who report directly to me. So I'm taking it. It's just going to be a good one, and we'll see where things go from there. I'm just being busy with that. But this week will be spent writing. I'll be in coffee shops and bars all week, and I will visit all the stationery stores in the city that I haven't had the chance to visit yet. So
are you a stationery nerd?
I am a huge stationery nerd. Oh God. Am I going to do this? Let's do this.
Yeah, because I don't think this is something we've discussed before. Is like some people are into that, and I think this is the first person we've had on the show that's been like, "Yeah, I'm a stationary person." So,
I mean,
I don't mean stationary sitting still. I mean like stationary. Right?
There's so many things I can show you. Like this is one of like 10 fountain pens I have sitting around. I have glass dip pens. I have at least 30 different colors of ink, and I have dip fountain pens to like just use different colors on and like almost like write up manuscripts. I sometimes write up manuscripts for people's like birthdays and anniversaries if they want to write a letter to a loved one and things like that. So it's all been kind of like I found ways to express this side of my life bit by bit in between everything else going on. But I've kind of just developed more calligraphy as of late just because I like doing it.
Yeah, it's something where like I used to like write stuff by hand first before I would type it up, and now I've just gotten lazy because
Good.
it is one of those things where when I would write, I'd like it, but my writing is terrible, so it doesn't like sometimes I actually wouldn't know exactly what I wrote.
Yeah.
What is that
Oh
word? So
no.
so
Oh, no.
it's just now gotten to a point where I just type it all out. So yeah,
I think what made my writing develop, like my writing style develop, was just drawing comics, like for years and years. So now everything has like all these flourishes and swoops, and people look at my writing like, you're like drawing as you write. I'm like, yeah, kind of.
And well, hey, then if it works for you, because like when I write stuff down, I have to explain it to people because they don't understand what the fuck I just put down on a piece of paper, like almost like another language, just chicken scratch style, right? So, uh, well, I think like our dad blogger friend Jeff Bogle did a whole thing on
Mhm,
Instagram for a while where he was like the mighty pens or something, where he was just
mhm.
doing pens. So I think pretty much he's a stationary person too, but he didn't really go into that when we had him on the show. So
I mean, people can go into a lot of different things on the show. It's just, the way it is.
yeah. So what's your favorite style of pen? Is the fountain pen it, or is it like, is there a certain pen that you go, I got to have these and I always have them?
You don't. Let's not go down this
No,
path.
we do. I
We
want
can.
to know.
Oh
Inquiring
my
minds want
god!
to know.
All right. So I love fountain pens. Fountain pens are great, but if you want to talk about like the best, I will fight people. I will fight people on for the best ballpoint pen. The best ballpoint pen is a Pentel Energel, which I buy by the dozen and in various colors. So
Holy
I have
shit.
it here. I have lilac, I have black, I have gray. I used to buy them off Amazon actually for pretty cheap. But what happened was people caught wind, like I think people just kind of caught wind of how good it was, and the price shot up, like it doubled on Amazon. And I was like, I can't justify this crap anymore. So you're not wrong. No, Sharpie makes good Sharpies, but the S gels are pretty nice. I don't know. I like the flow of a good Pentel Energel. That's all I'm saying. And it has like 20 different colors. But yeah, I go to like the trade shows and I go to like the stationery shows in town. And I get all sorts of stuff. It's bad. Like I can drop way too much money on just pens and stuff. And my kids know, like they'll come in and they'll ask me, he's like, Daddy, I need to use like a pen or a marker. And I'm like, okay. And they know what the second question is. Like, I'm like, what's it for? And it's like, oh no, Daddy, this is like a regular pen situation. I'm like, okay, cool. I got one for you. But it
All
was like,
right.
no, I need to like write a letter to like my teacher for like their birthday or whatever. And like, oh, you need like a fine point, like silver marker to write it on the front and everything. And it's so ridiculous the level we go to. But my kids are starting to they understand that my office is like a workshop. There's like, if anything they can dream up, uh they have access to multiple things in this office that can help them accomplish anything they're trying to do.
So again, this is all like, here's what I write with. This is my favorite pen, and it's just an
Mhm.
Inkjoy Papermate. And I like
Papermate Inkjoys are good.
and
I just never understood.
it's a stupid grippy thing on it. That's what I like.
Yeah, but like they have like the Inkjoy, like there's a certain style of Inkjoy. They have a few different lines. There's one that has something like 20 different colors, but like when you start writing gel pens like in yellow that don't write on black paper, I'm like, why do you make these? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. So here's Breeze talking about this with the Pilot G2s, which I think Pilot, I don't know which ones those are. If like, why it's a different, is there R gel or is it just S gels? Like this is all like me learning how to write Chinese or some other language that I don't understand. So like explain, please.
I mean, the Pilot G2s is like, it's almost like there's a hierarchy of like gel pens, right? Like the G2s are a good example of gel pens that are just kind of like, um, they write gel, but the gel is not a smooth gel. It's just kind of like it's there and it comes out as really almost like viscous ink. So it doesn't really like flow the way you want it to. Whereas you can see like with Energel, with the S gels and things like that, that it's kind of a more watery type gel that goes in it. So you know that you can write and it goes all over the place. But the key to it is it drying quickly so that it doesn't smear all over your hand. Yeah, exactly. Like Bree's calling it, and that is mediocre and it doesn't flow. It's like if it's too thick, then it just smudges, it just clogs the pen up, and you're not going to get anything useful out of it.
Is it something where like like the temperature affects it? Like, is it that touchy? Like if it's too cold, it's like
No, some pens are just mass manufactured and crap. That's really what it comes down to. I think there's the price tag often denotes like what style, what oh my god, Chris. The price tag often denotes the quality you're gonna get when it comes down to the ink that you get in there. But then, you know, the thing about Energels, in my opinion, is that they just run out really quickly, or maybe I just write too much. But then you can also buy refills for them really easily. So
yeah. And she said crap manufacturing, so Bree's agreeing with you. And then our friend Chris. Welcome back,
Yay.
Canuck cousin.
Smearing things on my hands. I've never had that associated with me in life, so it's always interesting over here.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but so this is what, like, in a way I wasn't expecting. So this is cool. What about actually paper you write on? Is there like, I tend to stick with things with lines on it because I'm sloppy and I need something to give me a guide, or do you give a shit? Or is it like, can you do free form stuff?
Doug, you're killing me tonight. Holy shit. Okay, hold on. I have to go under
Bring,
my desk for this one. Oh my god, you're killing
riveting content on Brothers and Booze tonight. Woo-hoo.
You guys don't know about my stationery. All right, so what I have in my lap that I'm about to show you is a testament to how much crap I buy that I need to just freaking use. So this pile right here, holy is a combination of different kinds of notebooks that I use for different purposes, and I'm still trying to figure it all out. My all-purpose one is a traveler's notebook, which basically has become a bit of a Frankenstein of different styles of paper. There's literally like black paper for writing with colored inks. You have waterproof paper for if anything's going to go in the wash and you don't want it to get destroyed in the washing machine. I have blanks. I have dotted and line stickers. I have a ruler in here, clips, all sorts of stuff. So this is like my all-purpose, like just jotting random ideas down in the day. And then I have other journals for just jotting down random notes. They're just random line notebooks, but I tend to work with a 80 GSM, like the actual paper weights. I usually go with 80 pounds or more just because they're thicker paper and they absorb better. But what I've also gotten into is Happy Planner, which is like a planning notebook type thing, which sometimes you'll have journals. Sometimes this one has everything from chore lists to meal plans to budgets and everything. And I'm just kind of like trying to operationalize my life as much as possible, both digitally and physically. I have too many notebooks, too many pens, too many ideas. And I'm very much at a point where I'm like, how do I streamline all of this so that I can live a simpler life? That's what I'm trying to do right now and failing at it. And of course, hello, Darren. It's always wonderful to see you.
Yes. I will tell you that the utilitarian brain of mine sees all that and goes, why do you need all that? Because my brain is like, I want everything to have like 3 uses. Like, I'm really weird about that stuff. And it's something where if I have something like for instance, if I buy a pair of fucking jeans, I'm going to buy something that I can wear either if it's nice or something that I can also use if I want to just wear to casual. And then eventually they get cycled down when they're old and then they turn into garden pants. Like everything has a purpose. Like I'm ridiculous about it. And poor Jill's got to deal with me. And like, you know, and I'm like, why do we need all this stuff? And she's like, well, we need it for these things. And I'm like, yeah, but you should be able to use it multiple ways. That's how I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me.
You're not. No, that's a simpler way of living. And it has a lot of merit to it. I mean, yeah, I have all these like, you know, ideas of what I can do with everything, but it doesn't mean I actually get around to it. I have, you know, ideas versus reality when it comes down to how many hours I have in a day and the other priorities that other people have for me. Like, I have 2 kids and a spouse and a home to take care of and a job with multiple people I have to take care of. So I'm just working at it. I'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, did you see the thing Chris posted? I'd never heard of that.
Yeah, they're having a lot more notebooks. 5-Star Mead is not the only company that does this. I mean, between note-taking apps like Evernote, Notion, OneNote, etc., they are trying to bridge that gap between physical writing and not necessarily needing to use a tablet or anything, but being able to take stuff on a paper that pops right into digital space. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how to make that workflow work for me, because I totally agree in that it's like, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it, but I've just become so used to my dumbass process of like writing everything down on paper, sitting down with the paper, typing it up, and I scan some things in sometimes, but I'm just so used to like it's almost like I do multiple rounds of editing that way, because I'll write by hand and scratch things out that I don't need. As I type it up, there's like the mental, I reread it in my head and I'm able to like siphon it some more. So yeah. It takes ages for me to write anything.
Yeah, I think this is a cool application of it, though. Like having this stuff where it go into their notebooks. That's pretty cool that you could do that. Like, yeah. All right. This is a whole avenue of things I had no clue about, and I think it's fucking great.
Welcome to Brothers and Booze, nerd style. Boom.
Yeah. All right. So Greg is doing something, and we're not sure what he's doing, but he'll be back.
That's good.
So what else is going on with the world of Casey? Like, we have a lot of different things. So now you say you change your diet and you're doing this. Are you cooking more? Like,
I am.
Okay. How's that going? Because I have to cook a whole shit ton of stuff because of my diet. So
yeah. I think mine has been more like just getting better ingredients and money. I just got to get better ingredients and better portion control, right? So a lot of it has been more around having a better awareness of like what I eat and the fact that I don't have to eat crappy food to like get flavor. So one of the things I started to appreciate more, for example, is like, I eat 6 times a day. So I have 3 meals and 3 snacks, and the snacks are literally like Granny Smith apple and like a spoon of almond butter or whatever, something like that. And I really like I really like Granny Smith apples. I knew I liked them, but I didn't know how much I liked them. To eat 4 of them a day, I really those freaking apples. But yeah, even with meals, I've been actually collaborating with my kids. So we've been doing a lot more working together to come up with meals that we all want to eat. Like they'll give me ideas of what they want. And for the other night, we made like spaghetti and meat sauce and steamed some broccoli and grilled up some sausages, and try to hit as many food groups as possible and get like, instead of using regular pasta, sometimes we'll use whole wheat pasta, or we'll even go to like cauliflower based noodles or something like that, and just switch it up to things that, or sorry, lentil based noodles, to switch it up to things that just better suit, digestion and stuff like that. And the kids are growing on it. It's something that they're just kind of like, this tastes funny or it looks weird in the beginning, and now they're just like, oh, but they have input into it. So we try to come up with things that work for us all. Yeah. And to answer Bree's question that I see in the comments here, I don't count macros, but I'm being encouraged to do so, because while I did manage to lose 25-ish pounds in the last 6 months, my trainer friends are telling me that if I want to continue progress, I now have done the easy stuff of like getting rid of like, I guess, most of the visceral or subcutaneous fat, and to kind of like bring everything down more. Now I have to be more focused and more intentional about it, which I hate. So we will see how it goes. Right now, I'm more in maintenance mode and making sure that I can keep to the habits, or have like, it's very different in winter. Winter, I'm inside all the time. I'm in my basement. I can do a daily kettlebell routine without a problem because I'm just here. But like in the summer, we're outside, we're doing stuff, and you get different activity. Like we're biking a lot. We have a couple weeks of camping on the calendar coming up and things like that. But yeah, it's not like I'm going to bike with a 30-pound kettlebell on my bike, because that sounds like a bad idea.
that sounds like not a good time. No.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad time.
Yeah, like the thing for us is that this house is like, obviously for me it's sodium and like non-processed
Mhm.
food, because the processed food is fucking terrible.
Exactly.
And I eat a lot of processed stuff and fried stuff, and I don't do that anymore. I fry stuff by fry in an air fryer, so I don't have to actually have any grease involved. And like I use panko crumbs because they're
Yep.
are lower in sodium. It's a lot of stuff that if you are so inclined, you can make things work better for you. So
Listen, panko breading is friggin' delicious. You can fry that up with minimal oil or butter, and it sticks so well to like meat or vegetables or whatever have you. It's great.
yeah, there we go. That I was going to say,
Welcome
Greg,
back,
you needed to
Greg.
come back in. I saw your head nodding with the panko comment. So yeah, what you got there? What's the second beer you got going there? Mad Butcher. Oh.
That reminds me of the Mad Rapper from like the Bad Boy records back in the 90s. Like, tell me why you mad.
You're not.
You're on
We can't
mute.
hear you. No, he's not muted. It's just we can't hear him because there's no mute. Like you can usually see if somebody's muted. Like if I do this.
His mic can have a mute. See, that red ring right there on the mic. He's muted.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the process, the man is muted.
There we go.
Yes, caught. 6.8, juicy, citrusy, a little bit piney, Doug. Really good. I'm not sure it's your jam, Doug, but it doesn't have to be because I'm drinking it.
Hey, I'm not the one drinking that beer. You are. So as long as your jam, all good, right?
Right. So y'all know I always come with questions. Y'all want a question or y'all want a stupid video? What do you want?
Both, obviously.
Let's start with the question, then let's do the video.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So I don't know internet list, Casey. I know you. If I could be wrong, you went through a phase in your blogging where
fucking Manny,
where you were making lists, right, Casey? Am I wrong? Didn't you?
You are not wrong. I used to make like a list of resolutions every January.
Right, and lists are great because they start a lot of shit, and no one will ever agree with your list. It doesn't matter what kind of list you put out. It doesn't matter. Someone's going to disagree, and likely someone's going to disagree heavily. So I'm going to put this list up, and I disagree on so much of this list that I don't even really want to talk about it. So I'm just going to let y'all talk about it because it's just fucking insane, this list. The top 10 favorite comedians list. Here you go. So
I have a lot of problems with that.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
What is this list?
So I don't even know where to start with this one. I mean, there's a lot that I do agree with on this list. And then some of this shit is just, I don't know what y'all talking about. So let's let Casey go first, Doug, if you don't mind, since
that's totally fine.
He's not really the guest, but for our purposes tonight, we'll say he is. Casey, what's your number one issue? What do you agree with? What's going on?
I mean, whoo, oh my gosh, that top 5 alone is driving me nuts. I mean,
I'm with a few, but oof.
Carlin's good. Like, let's not lie. Carlin is great, and he was funny for the time. But I mean, Pryor broke a lot of things, broke a lot of barriers and norms when it came down to comedy. Chappelle obviously is. I'm a huge fan of his stuff. But that's it. Robin Williams being at 4. What the hell? That man is hilarious. And to like, I just can't. I can't with so much of this. I mean, even Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's an interesting one because like I almost feel like Kevin Hart is seen as funny as he is because of volume. Like he's put out so much stuff that it's just kind of like, all right, there's enough Kevin Hart jokes you can think of. But if you want to talk about comedians, like if you're talking about a prime for prime competition, I'm like Eddie Murphy should be knocking out some of these people on the list. 100%. Like, I just like there's people missing on this, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah, Chris nailed it though. He's not even tall enough to be. And what I like, real quick, what I like about Kevin Hart is that he would laugh at that joke. By the way,
he would.
You know what I mean? He would. He'd be like, "Right, motherfucker, so stop it." Like, but yeah. So back to this, Casey. Any more comments before We let Doug at it.
The comments are coming in from the crew, and I'm just like, there's a lot here that I'm
They're
really
on it.
agreeing with right now.
Mhm.
Like Amy Schumer is just kind of like, I was like, I mean, as the one woman on the list, I wasn't gonna say nothing, but
I would say that there's a few women now who are far funnier than her.
yes, oh yes, definitely.
Taylor Tomlinson, I think she's hilarious. Eliza Schlesinger, like those two are funnier than her. Now Schumer kind of opened things up for both of them a little bit from that perspective. So I could see that. I can't put Chappelle on any list because of his transphobic shit, but that's a personal thing.
There was a moment before all that. Like there was a time in the early 2000s when Chappelle was very much like on top of his game. But yes, the more I find it's rare to see comedians who stick around for a long time and don't go down some dark, messed up path at some point or another. And that's just what happened there for sure.
Yeah, same with Louis C.K. I can't fuck with him either.
Yep.
I was gonna say 3 and 5 are all the way that.
And
7 is Chris Rock is pushing it.
His last one that came out, I was like, Chris, stop, your brand, bro, your brand.
right. And then I don't know, like the whole Will Smith thing. I know he's the one that got slapped, but it's still cringe on some level the way he responded to that. Anyway, Doug, anything else on here before I?
Yeah, one Carlin is for sure one for me. I saw him live 4 times before he passed.
Oh wow,
he was fucking great live, just unbelievably awesome.
Chris, at this point you might.
I can't. Oh my god,
shots fired.
Chris, you might get on this top 10 list after tonight. I mean, you're packing some bangers tonight, bro.
I will also say that I mean, there's some people. I think it's comedy so fucking subjective that like
yes, it is.
Pryor and Murphy should be up there, right along with. Now, granted, Murphy, like if you watch his old stand up now, that shit doesn't hold up very well.
Well, it's cringe.
It's very cringe.
Yeah, but Doug, hold on real quick. It was cringe back then, though. Like, some of Eddie Murphy Raw, like back then, I remember like, oh no, you didn't just say that shit. So like he and Amy, shouldn't there be a category called cringe comedians where that's all Amy Schumer's gig, Doug, in my opinion, is cringe.
It's
like she's but it's on a level of like, Amy, I'm not sure if that's even funny. You know what I mean? Because remember what did she host recently? Did she host the one where Will got slapped? No. Or no, where Chris got slapped? She hosted big she hosted the Oscars or something like prestigious, and the whole thing was cringe. And remember she made a joke about a couple and about and the guy
did host the Oscars.
Remember
damn.
Yeah. And then remember the guy was like, don't you know that's my girlfriend? And she was just so like, I don't know, like I want to like Amy Schumer, and it just doesn't happen for me. I just can't do it. I
will say she did do a show on Discovery where during a quarantine with her husband, where Amy Schumer learns to cook, and that was actually really funny because her husband isn't fucking funny at all. He's the driest dude. He's a professional chef, so he was teaching her how to cook, and like it was kind of funny. It was actually something because it was not scripted. It was her just being kind of silly, and that's fine. I have actually a question out of this is it's a top 10. Now, I actually do think Gaffigan belongs there. I think Gaffigan's fucking hilarious.
I have no problems with Gaffigan.
And he works mostly clean, which a lot of comics don't. I will also say low-key Jerry Seinfeld shouldn't be in there too because of his dating a 16-year-old when he was 34. That's kind of a problem. That's his wife.
Yes, and a lot of people don't think he's funny in a stand-up comedian context. I think a lot of people don't think he's funny in that context, even though he does stand up. I think people find him funny because of Seinfeld, obviously. But that was a show about nothing anyway. I'm not sure. And that was an ensemble cast too, so it wasn't just Jerry on that. I mean, there were like what, 4 or 5 funny people on that show. So yeah, Seinfeld's a little weak for me on this one. I love Chris Rock, but I would push him down a bit. Kevin Hart would not be on this list for me. Louis C.K. would be not on this list for me. George Carlin at number 1. Yes and no. But he's in top 3 for sure. And like JHG said on one of these comments, I mean, his stuff aged well, Doug. You talked about Eddie Murphy's stuff not aging well. George Carlin shit aged so well. And I know this because it was on one of my YouTube feeds, and I don't know, y'all get into YouTube and then like it just, I mean, you get like recommended and it just keeps playing. Well, I don't know. I walked out of the room, the kids called me out. I come back in and George Carlin was on. And it was like this 13-minute thing, and he was just going off, and I was like, man, this is recently too, Doug. And I'm like, man, this guy aged excellent.
He was calling all the governmental shit. Like he was just all on it.
Yeah, so snubs are clearly Eddie Murphy. I understand why Red Fox wasn't there, but that's another motherfucker, Doug, that was cringe back then, cringe now. But he was spitting mostly truth, though, And again, I'm not going to try to give that old, this is what like old white folks use as an excuse. Well, it was a different time then. So being a racist was cool. No, motherfucker. No. Yeah, Casey, I know you've heard this because I saw you laugh. It was a different time, Casey. So
the better times. Yeah.
Right. We can't hold people. No, we can.
Carlin said a lot of that shit too. He talked about that shit all the time too. Like if you're like pounding on communities who are kind of words escaping me at the moment, but like isn't faring as well as other ones. Sorry, the words are
disenfranchised.
Disenfranchised. That's the word I was looking for. He said you are punching down. And he was about that shit. You need to be punching up if you're a comedian. Like he said that back in the fucking 80s and 90s. Like he was not about that shit. So also Zach wanted to say if Roy Wood keeps doing the shit he's doing, he might get up in there. He's fucking funny as fuck.
Oh, really? Okay. And apparently I have to jump in on Jim Gaffigan because I was going to ask. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about the guy.
No, he's you know what? He's consistent. That's the thing. Like he's come out with a lot of good stuff that he's not like, you look at more modern comedians, you look at like a Bill Burr, and it's just like he has funny stuff, but the man can be abrasive as hell. And it's like Jim Gaffigan is like an easy listen of just kind of like the jokes are good, they deliver well, and yeah, it's hard to find comedians today who cut through all of the noise because there's just so much content, right?
And then let's address Chappelle. I think Chappelle should be on the list, but I think it should be down lower. And if you take his whole body of work, not the more recent headline grabbing, trying to be conscious, like he's doing too much with this transphobic shit. He's doing too much. Like you can have a joke about trans people, and I think trans people wouldn't be offended if it's a joke because it's a joke. But then he gets into like this weird thing where he like starts his commentary line, and like it just becomes so cringe. And it's just like, Chappelle, this is not funny, and it's not really meant to be funny. You're making a statement, bruh. And like Chris Rock does this, another motherfucker that does this, and I call him a motherfucker because he used to be funny and now he's not funny to me at all. Bill Maher. Those two motherfuckers go from like, telling jokes to like having a narrative, and like those two guys really push the line. And I think Chappelle's trying to do that too. But then when he brings Elon on stage, and Elon is cringe, not funny at all. Elon's that guy that like says jokes and then laughs at him and then expects you to laugh with him. But he doesn't have a contagious laugh. You know how some people have a contagious laugh? If they laugh, you laugh. Elon thinks he has that, and he doesn't. In fact, Elon's laugh makes me want to turn him the fuck off. I've heard it in his Twitter spaces where he's like, ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, okay, you told a joke, It wasn't funny, and your laugh doesn't even help because now you're almost like begging me to laugh. Like, wasn't that Jeb Bush? Please clap. He told the audience to clap, Casey, because nobody was clapping for him. That's kind of what I feel about Bill Maher, and Chris Rock is really careening towards this area. So I don't really, like George Carlin, and this is why George Carlin should be number 1, number 2, and number 3. Same with Robin. Is because they were able to make those statements, but make them funny and move on and not give off that level of preaching. And George Carlin was preaching. Let's not even like, not even, you know what I mean? But he kept it like spaced and so funny that you didn't really know you were being preached to until it was almost over. And then you're like, damn, I just got preached to. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, so there's an art to it, and some of y'all got it. And on this list, Amy Schumer, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Rock, you're losing it, brah. Y'all just don't got it. So y'all all need to either be pushed down to the bottom or off. Louis C.K., you're so fucking disgusting. I can't even really even be a part of. You make me feel dirty after I even look at you. And this is coming from the guy who loved that Louis show that he made. That shit was funny. Lucky Louie, was it? That shit was a fucking riot. It was really, really entertaining. And then he came out, and then he was exposed. Sorry, not came out. He was exposed.
Yeah. He was exposed, literally.
Being a complete piece of shit. Like lower levels. And then, of course, he doesn't see any kind of pushback besides he had to take off work for 4 years. And then we heard him complain and whine about it too, which shows that you didn't really even like feel that you did anything wrong, you fucking asshole. So fuck you, Louis C.K. Fuck the horse that you rode in on. Sorry about the horse. The horse is no, it's not the horse. It's not the horse's fault. Yeah, it's not the horse's fault that Louis C.K. picked him to run in. But fuck you and your horse and all the other shit that you do. And isn't Louis C.K. Canadian? Can we blame him on Casey?
No, leave him alone.
No, he's American.
Stop.
He's from New York.
I fucking tried.
I'm just putting it out there.
Communicate his ass.
They have Bieber and Drake. That's enough.
He's not going to be on the list yet, but I did put in the comments that Hassan Minhaj, I want to see how this man's career goes out because he is hilarious. He just needs more time, more work, and he'll get there. But his Homecoming King special, a lot of the things he's put out, I watched his Netflix show for the seasons upon seasons. Like, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else he comes up with as he continues.
Yes. Now, Jon Stewart is funny, but the caveat with Jon Stewart, I believe, is that like there is Jon Stewart. Well, a lot of these guys do too, but they just don't advertise it. Jon Stewart has a plethora of writers behind him, especially on his shows. But he's funny though. I'm not trying to say the man's not funny, but I think of him differently. JHG nailed it with Dennis Miller. Again, Dennis Miller used to be funny, right, Doug? But then he went like preachy, and then we completely canceled him. Then he went over. But listen, you can be conservative and kind of still be funny. Just don't be preachy. Like, and if you're going to be preachy, you gotta you gotta be masterful at the preaching. So, and some of them just aren't. So, Doug, you said you had a question to follow all this up.
Yeah. So you notice we had one female representative on that entire list. One. Who's the funniest woman? Like, if we're gonna do female comedians, who's the funniest woman? Like
Lauren Yee. Thank you.
That's a great one.
Underrated is Wanda Sykes is underrated, but I think I think she's, I don't know. I think society in general have a problem with a vulgar woman. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if a woman's up there cussing, that doesn't go off more than that doesn't go off. You know, when Eddie Murphy's cussing, we're like, yeah, or Richard Pryor. Man, that motherfucker cussed all the time. Red Fox, they were cussing all the time. But I think a woman cussing is not, again, I don't mind it, but I think that's kind of like cringe for society. What do y'all think?
Yeah, we just double standards. It's a mess. Sorry, Doug, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that Zach's comment there, Janine Garofalo back in the day was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and then what happened? Something happened with her as far as,
well,
I don't think something socially, but something happened. Like, she lost her juice.
Dropped off the radar for a bit. And she did some movies, and the movies were like kind of milquetoast kind of movies, and the truth about cats and dogs and like things like that. Margaret Cho is funny too. I want to tell you, Jill and I were sitting in a part of New York City once. We were just sitting because we were tired because we walked all day, and we were just sitting in this one section. And Janine Garofalo walked right the fuck past us with a million tattoos. She had so many tattoos; it was like crazy weird to see how many tattoos she had. But
Wow.
yeah, exactly. At the end of the '90s happened. Apparently, that's what happened.
Yeah. Two while I'm remembering them. Sarah Silverman went downhill.
Yep.
She had a couple moments, but then she did some cringy. She was cringe too. Like you almost went at the brace when Sarah Silverman talked. And then another one is who's the Sarah Palin impersonist lady?
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey. So there's another funny lady. I'm not sure if I will put her in a comedian, more like funny TV lady. Does that make sense, y'all? Or where we at with Tina Fey?
I find her and Amy Poehler in the same, even though they're
that feels like a good way to put it.
But they both are like good at like sitcom comedy, very good. They're fucking exceptional.
TV funny lady, not really comedian, right?
That's a different kind of comedy. Like doing stand-up comedy is way different to doing that kind of
yes,
comedy. Like
this is true.
Adam Scott is really fucking funny, but he would not be a good stand-up comedian. Like that, you know what I mean? That kind of funny. They're fucking great at what they do.
Gotcha. Cool, man. Cool. I see a star comment here. What's this?
He's not wrong.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, what's up, Zach? Nice to see you back here. We've missed you a couple weeks. You weren't even here. You weren't even here to heckle your friend Art last week. What's going on, Zach?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
wait. I think he made one comment where he was at.
He got a jab in, but it wasn't a full hour and a half of ribbing like we're used to. Like, right. It was a little disappointing. Right. It's a little disappointing. Yeah, everybody says that.
Yeah, the jokes about vinyl records at some point get a little stale, so it's a little hard. But
he did he's blaming StreamYard, y'all.
Yeah, of course he is.
So
he's probably the most tech savvy person we have out of all of our folks that watch his show.
Right.
He works in IT, and so yeah.
How dare you? Do any of y'all? Well, we know Casey doesn't have a second beer because Casey is beerless. What's up, Doug? You ready for that?
Yes, sir. Y'all ready for this? Sorry.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
So this is from Proclamation Ale Company. They're out of Warwick, Rhode Island. This is a double Abbey ale, double Belgian style ale. So Newt Rust, no rest. Newt Rust, no rest. I don't know what that means.
Doug, do you have a proclamation to make?
Yeah, my proclamation is that this is a very good double. So it doesn't have any head on it because it's been sitting here for a bit. But yeah, hey,
double the head.
No head, so no double. It's a solid double, but I'm going to tell you, out of all the Belgians, double is probably my least favorite style.
Yeah, doubles can be really, really malty and sweet.
Oh, that's very much this one.
And yeah, I don't think we talk enough about bad doubles. Actually, I don't think we see enough of them. Some of them are really bad, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is not bad. This is very much in the style. I'm just saying. It is probably my least favorite Belgian style, which I love most Belgian beers, but that's probably my least favorite out of all of them.
I agree with you. Yep. And
oh wait,
I can't.
Wait,
I can't.
Sorry, I wanted to put this one in. Sorry.
Leave my basement office alone. I have no time to decorate this thing. Damn it. Actually, you know what? It's funny. It's funny. I literally have a green screen sitting back here. I just never get around to using it, but I do have one. I just need to get on it.
Oh, we have to do that and then have Casey do like live reporting.
Racism report.
Right. So y'all rate Casey's background from 1 to 10, please. Let's see. Let's see. Let him roll in. Let him roll in. Y'all, let's go. Let's go. Casey lost weight too, just like a POW. See?
I read that as a pal, and I was a little confused, and I didn't realize he was saying prisoner of war. Oh my God, what is wrong with me?
I don't like to speak ill of our friends, but I feel like real hard Jeff Harry vibes right now when he like roasted me for like 2 hours straight.
Yeah, you need to mention Tim Horton sooner. You're going to be kicked out of Canada. So, Doug, I have a video for y'all. We ready for this?
Yes. We've already done that song, but yes.
Yeah. So here we go.
Y'all be careful. Don't get there. Don't get there.
Y'all be careful. What?
It's no war thing.
Australia.
That guy is...
Where the fuck are you going?
You almost killed us! What's wrong with you? Stay there, don't move! Where's your license? Where's your license? You don't have nothing? Is this stolen vehicle? You stole it? Get the fuck out! Fucking hands when you stay there, don't move!
Fucking fuckwit nearly wiped my ass back up there. Oh, sorry.
What the fuck after this, sorry, what? You idiot!
I
had to swipe away from you, you almost killed me. And you're going away. You never stop. Are you on the drug? Did someone call the drugs?
Wow.
The one thing I do love about this, I love how motherfucker is in every language. Like, I couldn't hear anything else but you motherfucker. Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Stevie will probably drive better than that shit.
Holy shit.
Right. Oh, yeah. Clearly.
Do you know where that was?
They made a citizen arrest, and that was Australia.
That was Australia, eh? Jeez.
Yeah. They should have sicked the damn kangaroos on them. I don't know if y'all seen, but there's been a rise.
Kangaroos don't fuck around.
Kangaroo videos on Twitter.
I got a joke.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
So, true or false? A kangaroo can jump higher than the Empire State Building. True. Kangaroos, buildings can't jump.
For that, we're going to put you on the spot. Oh, shit. Anyway, I like it. Casey, is there anything that we need to explain to you about America that you do not understand since we last saw you?
I mean, you know what? I have been avoiding the
Nashville hot
cycles, those news cycles make me cry. I'll tell you to get you guys to understand where I am with news cycles about the States. The most up to date thing in my mind when I think of America is the Tennessee 3, and I know that was a while ago. So
Oh, we've moved on to dumber and more racist shit.
I know. I'm just
Yeah, that was scratching the surface of the racist shit we're doing now.
Right, we got so much. You ever see this big, tall, high heel governor of Florida? Or how about our ex POTUS, who's like wanted by every court system in America? I mean, we got it all here, yo. We do.
I'm just saying, like, there's too much. There's too much for me to keep on top of. But what I admire, I have to say, is how expressive people are about the issues and how in many cases they're personally affected by things these days. So when you have let's go back to the video you started with, when you talk about that personal impact from what happens at the governmental level with decision making, and how people for ages and ages disassociated themselves from that, like, well, I can't make a difference, but 101 million people didn't vote in the last election, where it's just like there are ways in order to change the world you live in, and people need to start giving a crap. So yeah.
Do y'all have the level of people not voting that we do?
Oh yeah, we had a lot of no-shows for a lot of our elections. I think it's just a lot of apathy. People get to a point where it's just kind of like, you've seen so many different variations of government or platforms, and it's just constantly shit. That we're just like.
But Casey, do you know the numbers though? Is it like more than half, like down here?
I don't think it's that bad.
Okay.
I think it's still 30-40%. I think it's still reasonably high, just not as high.
So I think we have to I think we're at a place in America where I'm not rooting for this, but the fascism has to really roll in for people to really be like, oh shit, I have to vote. Like it's so taken advantage of, and we're just so worried about others. Like we're literally worried about, in my opinion, we're literally worried about two things more than we're worried about fascism. We're worried about Netflix shutting off people from remotely fucking streaming, and we're more worried about HBO Max dropping HBO. Like people are legitimately pissed off about this. What? What?
It's a dumb thing to do. Let's be fair. That's not a giant thing to be concerned about, but yeah.
No, it is dumb, but the outrage of it is are y'all serious? I mean, and then also Doug needs to be worried about his Miami Heat, but that's another story for another time. So, look at that, Doug. That's nothing. That's fine. Anyway,
if I win that fucking series, I'm gonna mute and befriend Aaron Gouveia for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Oh, how do you mute a person in real life? That's going to be
in real life. Oh my God. The number of parents who would sign up for that service, I'm telling you.
Right. Because Aaron Gouveia would magically show up. I mean, he watches the stream, don't get me wrong, but he would magically show up and be commenting next week, Doug, for sure. So we might have to just block his ass.
If the Celtics come in and he starts commenting, I'll be like, we're not going to pull up his comments at all. Fuck that.
Right.
I'm not going to deal with that.
Well, I don't even know if you have it available, but there is a little thing called block user. If you click on the options over here, Doug.
I think I
preemptive blocking. Oh my gosh.
Right.
You'll be like, what the hell? Why can't I comment?
Oh shit. Hey. Yeah, I'm not wrong. Yeah. And then we have all this going on, Casey, down here too, which is not ending.
That.
And it's not getting any better. And that's why I'm like, Minnesota actually, while we're here, Minnesota is really one of the most progressive states in America now. They're passing all kinds of good shit up there, almost making me want to move. But that shit's way too cold, way too wintry. No, I can't do it. It's Canada. I can't do it. I mean, I like Canada. It's cool to visit.
It's Canada Light.
I just can't do it. But
Lewis Black does a whole skit about Minnesota that is fucking flawless about how fucking cold it is. One of the comments he goes, hey, you should come here in the summers in Minneapolis because it's exceptional. He goes, yeah, because you can feel all your fucking fingers and toes.
Lewis Black is another one. He doesn't deserve to be on a top 10 list, but
No,
he
he
deserves to be.
doesn't, but he's
He
great.
deserves to be mentioned just in general about comedians. Yeah. Only in America, we're more worried about books than guns.
Not all of us,
but
not all American. Hashtag.
No, but I mean, he didn't say all American. He said only in America are we, and he's right. So, yes, Lewis America, yes. So let's address this. Minnesota's a ladder removed from Madison. Minnesota as a state, JHG, is a fucking major upgrade compared to Wisconsin. It's major. It's not really even close. Our governor is a good man, wants to do things. Our GOP is as loony as they get. And we would be, if we still had Scott Wanker as our governor, we would be Tennessee in 2 minutes. Like we would be Texas in 2 minutes. We're literally one governor away, Casey, from being Florida. So I understand what you're saying, JHG, but like Minnesota as a whole, they're doing great. Recreational weed now. Schools,
Michigan's doing pretty good too.
Schools, yeah, but Minnesota is actually, again, I haven't seen what's going on in Minnesota or Michigan, but Minnesota's actually doing it this I call it semester. We got paid leave this semester. We got paid school meals for all kids. Yep. For 2 meals,
breakfast and lunch.
We got recreational weed. We got medical weed. Minnesota is doing it, and it's great because they just got their majorities. And once they did, the governor's like, "It's on, bitches." He almost literally said those words, and they just been running progressive things through that whole system up there, and it's just been great. Yeah, I lived in Illinois. You know, again, I'm not seeing the progressive shit out of Illinois that we should be seeing out of Illinois, but I think Illinois, I'm not sure if I don't know if they own all three.
No, they don't.
Okay. So that's why we're not seeing it.
They're a lot like Pennsylvania. They're a lot like Pennsylvania in that they have some very strong Democratic parts, and parts of it will be Democratic, but they have a wide swath of Republican parts,
like everywhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yes. No. It's again Wisconsin, and that was kind of what JHG was saying about Madison. Because Madison and Milwaukee are definitely our strongholds. They've pushed us through to be progressive as we are, but we have all this gerrymandering shit that we need to unhook soon. So yeah. Oh, he's actually talking about temperatures. I thought it was like I'm still not going to agree with that because we're still our shit's a little bit better than up there. It really is. Like their winters go to like April, literally May sometimes. We kind of get out of there in April. It really never fucks with us in May. Minneapolis still have snow in May, man.
I went to Minneapolis for a training thing like fucking 15 years ago or something in the middle of fucking February. Like, could you send me at the worst fucking possible time to go to Minneapolis? It's goddamn February. It was -7, right? Almost every fucking day.
Right.
And I had to walk to the fucking training facility from my hotel, which was like a couple of blocks. And I'm like,
no one is touching Zach's Edmonton, Alberta story. I'm just saying that stuff was hilarious. Coming up to Edmonton in shorts and t-shirt. I'm like, I'll kill you. Like this sounds cold. I agree. But when you're like shorts and t-shirts at -40 and it was like it was -40 Fahrenheit or Celsius, it doesn't matter. It's the same in both. That's how cold it is.
When you're that cold, if it's Celsius or Fahrenheit, you're still gonna fucking freeze.
Yeah, and I also like to remind y'all that the top of Minnesota, the state, borders Canada. So I'm not exaggerating when I say Minnesota is Canada. So that, number one. And yes, people in California, people don't live here. There is a different climate in Wisconsin than there is in Minneapolis and Minnesota. There is. And I don't have the numbers here, but I'm pretty sure those motherfuckers get twice as much snow. So, or if not 1.5 for sure. They get more snow, they get more nastiness. And also another thing y'all don't know is that Minnesota gets hotter than Wisconsin. Minneapolis is a hot place in the summer. And people are like, what? Minnesota, Minneapolis, especially the Twin Cities, is a hot motherfucking place, especially in July and August. Wisconsin's hot, yes, but not as hot as up there, man. Like, I ain't trying to fuck with Minnesota's weather. Y'all can try to. Y'all can try to say Wisconsin is. No. That place up there is crazy.
Maybe
So I don't give a fuck how progressive they are. I ain't going there.
Maybe you should bathe in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. Sorry, that was a Chappelle skit.
Yeah. I had a wedding Christmas time in North Dakota. It was minus 30.
Shit. No, that's a bad no. That's a huge no. No.
No.
Why not just live in the North Pole or
right. Lauren, right. Hey, oh yeah, well, California is California has all the climates.
Yes. And she's right. There's like microclimates in a bunch of different spots.
Yeah, there are, yeah. And they have all of them, north, south. I mean, they got it all in California, but I don't know. If I could afford it, I would love to live in California. I ain't one of those people scared of that shit. So, yeah. Doug, you have another one, and I need to go get mine. Bye.
So I'm gonna pull out this doohickey. I got this at a bottle share Wednesday.
Ooh,
all right. So if you just look at the color of this, what style of beer would you expect this to be?
I mean, I expect like a fruity, passion fruity type, like even the sour maybe. But
sour,
yeah, summery, bright color beer.
Sour.
Imperial stout.
No, you're fucking kidding me. What?
That is the most misleading label. Like, what? And I was like, oh, Greg, you're gonna love this before you get your other one. I'm gonna read you the ingredients.
This is a Doug special, isn't it?
This is a me special. Very, very thick and dark stout with notes of chocolate, vanilla, blackstrap molasses, and licorice.
Did they make the label to trick you?
Yes, I think they were like, "Hey, you want to drink something you think is a sour? Guess what? It is very much not." This is from Woodstock Brewing out of the Catskills, by the way. So
take all the licorice beers, put Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump in a fucking rocket ship and fucking shoot them all into the sun. Fuck them all, and fuck licorice beers. Licorice beers are horrible.
Listen, it's funny because like the last one you had a Dutch name, and now you're drinking something with licorice notes, and the Dutch love licorice.
Oh, they
even
do.
put salt
all the
licorice.
Scandinavian countries do. They love it. Scandinavian countries fucking love licorice. All their Canadian licorice.
Why?
I don't know why.
Look, that is a white thing. I'm blaming that shit on y'all, Doug.
Hey, blame my ancestors. My ancestors are from there, so sure, why not? I will say
we're not taking credit for that shit, Casey. We're fucking not. At least I'm not. No.
What's interesting to me about this beer is that, and I had this at the bottle share, so I don't get any licorice at all. You know what I get with all the combination of flavors is fucking coffee. It's weird, but it tastes more like a coffee stout to me, but like a bitter coffee stout. So heavy on that, but it is 9.2% ABV, so it's a higher ABV as an imperial stout would be, or as a what does Giant Jones call it? Not imperial, they do a different term for it.
Grand.
I want to start it because imperial has colonization notes and all that, so
more than notes, but yes. Yes.
So grand stout.
Yes.
I would say this is like drink one of these and you're good because it's got so many flavors going on at the same time.
Well, and it sounds like it's got a lot of damn sugar.
It's not that sweet.
Okay, good.
It's like I said, it's more like a black coffee flavor profile to me than any of the other stuff. So how
assertive is that licorice?
Barely. Like I don't taste the licorice notes. Like maybe just a twinge, but it's more like I said. All those things kind of combine to make more of a coffee flavor for me than anything. Like a black coffee, which I don't drink my coffee black. I drink it with sugar and milk. So I'm not a purist. So
Cool. Casey, you had a question.
Yeah, I was asking about Doug's shirt because it actually reminds me of a hoodie I have here, and I looked it up, and I now have the details, and I need it because it's like from a fundraiser, right? It looks really cool.
yes, hold on, I got the back of it too.
Yeah, nice.
There we go.
I think I have this. I don't know if the sweater I have in mind is downstairs or something. I'm going to take a quick look and then I can show you what it brought to mind when I saw it. But give me 2 moments.
Okay, yeah,
All right, well,
that's from
we'll
Rat
bring it back.
Magnet, which we've talked about, and I messaged her to try to be on the show, but unfortunately got no response.
That would have been great. She would have been great.
Man, I would love to. And her partner just opened up a brewery in Maine, in Biddeford. So our friend Carla has been there and said they only brew 2 styles. They brew because they're a Czech beer house. So they brew 2 different. They brew a light and a dark lager. That's all they brew.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's cool, but yeah, I'm not saying like if you can make that work, that's fucking fantastic because not many brew houses can survive on 2 styles of beer.
Good luck, Matt. There's not that many licorice and style beers anyway.
No.
So right, I said put them all in a rocket and shoot them into the sun. It would only probably be like 5 of them, so it's fine.
It'd be a very light payload going out.
Yeah. Casey's back, but yeah, it wouldn't be. But good luck though, Matt, because but someone's gonna make some at some point. So there isn't a year aim.
I will see if I. Somebody had to make that. Somebody had to make that.
So my third beer is. I waited for Casey to show this because I think Doug's going to get it. Everybody should get this reference, but this is a fun reference. This is from Microphone Brewing, who, Microphone, obviously they have a lot of music-based beers. This is DDH IPA, ABC, BBD.
Oh, that's great.
Family. Oh man, Motown
do you remember?
Family.
Hey, do you remember? Do you remember there was a video that it was that where they had a white group that they were going to promote in that, and they never released anything.
Really?
There was a white boy band kind of group that they were trying to shoehorn in with the AB Another Bad Creation. They were like a teenage, whereas Another Bad Creation was younger, and it was like this group of like 5 white kids, and Michael Bivins was in there like pointing to him in the video. It was like a blip, and nothing was ever heard of them ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Doug, I did bring out a sweater from the closet, so it's from the Get Real movement. And I bought it because this is like their logo here, but on the back it says this. And so
I love that.
It's proven very interesting because like it's taught my kids a lot about just kind of like where my views stand and that I'm very much like, I want them to be on the same page as me. I'm, not pushing my equality and equity agenda on them, so to speak, but very much like this is what I expect. So this is where we're going with where if you talk to me about stuff, this is what you can expect. And going to being part of an active church community, it's gotten me into some conversations with people, especially the older community who are very much just kind of like, well, how can you stand by this when this? I'm like, and then I just kind of like, I'll argue back where I'm like, well, you can live in your shitty reality. That's cool. But I'm not going to join in on that. I'm going to go for this.
Can we see that shirt again?
Of course.
Yes, please.
So what on there is not a religious principle?
Oh, that first one is a problem for people.
All of them should be religious principles.
Oh, I agree. So my argument back on people is the fact that like Jesus was the entire point of Jesus was to enable all this.
That was to enable all of that.
And so when they come here, it's like, well,
ALL.
where people don't agree with it on any any particular verse or anything from the Bible. I'm like, well, no.
Right. What Bible
So,
y'all reading?
I really enjoy wearing this because basically, when you wear this on the street, I see other people wear these shirts because it was a huge fundraiser for LGBTQ rights up here. There's like centers we have in just east of downtown Toronto, and so I see them around town, and you can just tell okay, I fucks with you. And it's like nice and bold on the back, so you're not hiding anything. You're very much like this is a statement piece, and so I wear it often. I have a few hoodies that are very much towards the entire idea of whether it's anti-violence, anti-racism, equity. Just I'm becoming a little more vocal about things these days. I think I got tired of seeing things not change. So yeah.
Yeah,
I got them. Or you go, Doug. No, you go, because I'm going to change the subject. So,
so before we change the subject, just I talked to all you in kind of our group chat for the co-host about being put in charge of my company's Global Pride Committee initiative, which is a giant fucking thing because our company has like 35,000 employees and they're all over the world. And one of the things that came out of this was I got an email from one of the people in the committee who's like, yeah, I'm going to come out, but I don't know how at work. And that person entrusted me with helping them.
Okay.
And there is no fucking more daunting task than I have kids who have come out and it's less daunting than this. My kids know they have my support. They know they're my kids. They know they're fine. They know we will always support them. This is a person who was like, I've been in your meetings and I've heard you talk and I am asking you for your help. I don't know jack shit about doing that stuff in a corporate environment. So it's been a little bit of a collaborative effort because there's a person in our group who's in HR. And the thing is what people don't understand is when you come out at work, a lot of folks don't tell HR because HR then will have a record of you doing that. And depending on the company, they will not treat you well. And that happens all the time, except my company is not like that. Thankfully, they're very progressive and forward thinking, and they very much support our group. And I'm not sure where I'm going with this other than to say it's refreshing to see companies be very open to having folks of all stripes. They will talk the talk, but few will walk the walk, if that makes sense. Yeah. And Greg, you were going to say something?
No, I was just going to jump in, and that's why y'all are privy to the conversation. But part of my thing during the conversation was, and Doug, this is your prerogative. You do what you want, bro. It's your position. Only you can navigate these waters. But my advice is to fucking push the issue. Let's see where we're going to go with this. Y'all want to talk? I want to see some action, and really, action to me at the bottom line for these companies is money. So how much money they put or they give Doug, or how many requests that they approve that Doug wants to have money involved is ultimately going to, in my opinion, that's how I look from the outside in. Doug, you have inner workings. You've talked to people about this, so you know more than me. And I don't even really want you to address that ultimately, because that's just something that you're going to have to ultimately go on. But to me, my thing is that if they're not, it's about how much money and resources they're willing to throw at this. Ultimately, proves whether they are down with the whole thing or not. So, and Doug, only you can gauge that, and only you know what I mean. So, that's on you. And again, I'm not there privy to all that, but I just wish you luck. And like I told you, I would be very excited to do it, but I would be very fucking scared.
Oh, I'm terrified. I'm an ally. No, I am not in the community myself, and that's right. When they wanted me to be the lead, I was like, hey, listen, yeah, I'm vocal in the group because I have 3 kids that are LGBTQ, and out of 4, so
but yeah, there's still. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go on. I'm sorry.
No, and I was just saying. So yeah, I'm adamant and supportive, but I'm an ally. I'm not a person in the community. And what their response was, well, yeah, that's why we want you because you're not in the community and you're a
Okay.
voice.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where I see their point, but at the same time, it's kind of unnerving to be
It's
like,
kind of, yes. Well,
yeah.
for me, it's easy for me to talk about black and all that. I mean, because I am. So it's easy for me to preach that. But if it was trans, which I'm not, and just because I have trans friends doesn't mean shit. So from that angle, I would just be like, I would be calling all of my trans friends and hoping that I don't sound like a fucking idiot when I'm asking for their advice. Like, because I know this because I have had white people approach me about diversity things, and just by the way they approach is so cringe, Casey. And I know that they
Oh, yeah.
mean well, but
Mhm.
the shit is cringe because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No, you
So,
need more.
like,
You need more actual consultation with people walking the walk and living the life.
right. So then that's why I would just like I said, I would be rolling up with my friend Jessica Jones. I would be rolling up with my friend Nick North. I'd be trying to talk to them as much as I can because they at least understand that I mean well. So when I say something stupid, they're not going to just jump at me, or they might. And if they do, I probably deserve it because I probably just say something that's sensitive or something that I don't really understand. And that's probably, that's part of learning is being vulnerable and being understanding that you might say something stupid. Like, don't go into it like, respectfully, like a lot of white people do, like white splaining, or like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, or taking that white point of view. I'm a heterosexual, mostly heterosexual, or I don't know. Well, let's not talk about that. But I'm not trans, so but I don't have the adjacency to it as you. I mean, you have close family members, their kids, and you have close friends. You have many trans friends. So if anybody's meant to do it or could do it, Doug, it's you, man. And I think you do a good job because you are mindful, you are thoughtful, and those are two things that really, really go a long way, actually. And you're willing to learn. And when called out, and Doug, I've called you out on some dumb things you said as a white male, and you're like, I'm sorry, bro. Okay, cool. And I know your wife has called you out on some shit because we've talked about that. So you are willing to be called out, corrected. You're willing to learn. This is what we need. Like, and what I mean by we, I mean, marginalized communities need white allies to really push this, especially in such a white dominated society.
And
so with that being said,
they need us to be very vocal, and so that we speak up
Sure.
for those, because unfortunately, voices like mine are going to be heard more, which sucks.
Well, it's a nuanced thing because sometimes we need you to be vocal, and many times we need you to shut the fuck up and not say anything. So it's a balance, right, Casey? It's a balance.
Always. I mean,
Right.
I've been slapped on the wrist and called out on so many things over the years, but it's made me a better person.
Right.
Ultimately.
Sometimes we just need y'all to shut up. I mean, and it goes to like another thing is which we could all relate, which has nothing to do with race, which is mansplaining. And when women are talking, sometimes we just need to shut the fuck up, especially if it's women issues. And we need to shut up and listen. And that's it. Actually, we shouldn't even be giving advice unless they say, hey, what should we do? Or, hey, what are your thoughts? Then that's when we move in to give advice. Until then, I've learned this with my significant other. I need to shut the fuck up and just listen. And especially if it's a woman kind of, issue. You don't know shit, dude. Shut up. There's nothing. I mean, I'm not maybe as black as can be, but I'm black. Okay. So
are you blackity black?
I'm not. I was gonna say I'm not blackity. I don't even know what that. I really don't even know what that.
I hear that
means.
all the time, and I'm just like,
can we actually talk about that, Casey? What does blackity black mean? So, Casey, you're darker skin color than me. Does that make you more blackity black? But you're Canadian, so you're not blackity black.
Just a CB3 reference. Isn't it just like a horrible like 90s reference that we've taken into a meme and are now trying to give meaning to undeservedly? Is that not what's happening right now?
Casey, there are black Americans who think that no one can be black outside of America. There are literally people who think that. So, Casey, you're not black. People in Africa aren't black.
That wasn't that the entire
And I'm
Kamala
like,
Harris issue? Like
what
you're not actually
the
black. You're like Jamaican. I'm like,
right,
oh my
right.
god, people stop.
So when someone says I'm blackity black, I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Can you just define that for me real quick?
You know what?
'Cause-
This is a good plug for me. So I'm working on a project right now that's called
take us away, Calgon.
The Black Canadian Mosaic, sharing our stories through memories and maps. And what I'm doing is a mixture of personal stories to like talk about the diversity of blackness across the country, because we have very different black communities across Canada from coast to coast. But also I'm doing a lot of mapping. So I've been doing a lot of actual like maps to show across different city centers, like what the black distribution is like. And I'm trying to move into just really doing evidence-based storytelling of like, you know, how that impacts things like education rates or income or other things like that, and trying to just really make the entire idea of what being black in this country is tangible for people. So yeah, I think the blackity blackness is always going to be this huge container we all got poured into you know, unwillingly over the last several centuries, and now we're just trying to make the best of it that we can.
Good shit. Good shit. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I got a list. I got another list for y'all. I don't know if y'all want to do this list too.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
You ready for this, Doug? All right.
Yeah,
all
let's
right.
do it.
Okay. So just like the last list, I don't know if this is going to be as controversial, and I it's going to be hard to read a little bit, so we'll have to take. But this is the top 10 TV dads.
Oh god.
So,
Oh no. Oof. Oof.
There's
Let's
one
go.
that better not be on there.
No, you know he's gonna be on there.
Yeah, he is.
wait, who's he? Bill?
He's
It's Cliff
Cliff
Huxtable.
Huxtable.
Come on.
How do you get rid of Cliff Huxtable off any dad list, though?
Because he's fucking Bill Cosby. That's why.
Yeah, but okay. Well, let's get into it before we get into that conversation.
Wow.
What?
He didn't even make the list.
All right, Tim Taylor should not be on that list ever. Fuck that guy.
Tim Taylor is a dad. I am not very aware of what that. And I mean, Dan Connor at number, like, I don't know. Phil Banks is high for me, man. Carl Winslow doesn't even make sense to me.
Al Bundy was a horrible dad.
I hate this list.
Well, he was a
in so many
terrible
ways.
father. Terrible. Now, Danny Tanner was a good father, but number one, are you fucking kidding me?
He ain't no number one.
Right. I don't know. This list is worse than the last one, right, y'all?
This is a bad list.
I don't remember Andy Griffith at all.
He had a whole last show. That's all I can tell you.
Casey, would you just scrap this shit and start over, Casey? What are you doing?
This is a dumpster fire list, man. I do not love this whatsoever.
That's terrible. All right, so I can't.
Right, Jason.
All right, Dan Connor, fucking like. Man, Tim Taylor, no.
I love it though, Al Bundy.
Triple question mark. Like what?
Like when I saw Al Bundy, I was like, "Wait, is this a troll list?" Like that's what I was like. Is this a troll? Because you know, people make lists of trolls.
Peter Griffin. You're right. With the way this put together, Daniel Fisher is like Peter Griffin may as well be on there. I'm like, yes, Bluey's dad. Yo, Lauren, you aren't wrong. You aren't wrong.
Bluey's dad is the bomb. He's an at-home dad, isn't he?
You are not wrong
Oh
on
my
that
god!
one. Yep.
Whoa! This is the best comment.
I was gonna say Peter Griffin may as well be on
You
there.
go-
These are the
This
metrics
is
you're
the best
using.
comment. Where were the dads from My Two Dads? Do you guys remember this show? The show with the premise was the mom died and didn't know which guy was the dad, so the kid went to live with both of their dads.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let's see. Bandit is the best.
Okay. All right. So my question, I'm going to ask a question. Like I watched the George Lopez show a few times. I'm not Hispanic, so I can't talk to the way that how he was as a father in that context. But he felt a bit, from my perspective, being very similar, like Tim Taylor, kind of just like, I'm going to yell at you, and you're going to listen to me, and that's just how it felt. That's how Tim Taylor was.
Mm,
That's how it felt like. Now, granted, I'm going to speak as a person who has not ever been Hispanic and never will be. So maybe that is like very authentic to the experience of a Hispanic household. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, we
I
do
never
live in a
seen.
post-Dolezal world, so if you told me that you want to identify as Hispanic today, I'll be like, well, I suppose that's your right.
Right. I actually think Mike Brady should be higher. The Brady Bunch father, he was a good dude, wasn't
And he was actually a fairly progressive dad at the time. Like
he?
really, for
Yeah,
the time, he was pretty progressive. He actually listened to his
right,
kids and all that shit. And back in those
right.
days, in the 70s, nobody listened to their kids. I know because I was a kid in the 70s. My parents didn't listen to anything I fucking said. So
Right. Now, what? Let me hear me out on Al Bundy, y'all. Okay, hear me out. Let me,
okay.
as my youngest says, let me cook a little bit, okay, before you jump down my throat. He always says this shit. Let me cook. Let me cook. Okay. So Al Bundy, no, was not the greatest dad, but back in the day, it was kind of ballsy to have a dad as real as Al Bundy. Yes, he was a caricature, but back in the day, I mean, he was, it was like an Archie Bunker type feel to him. And there was a lot of more dads out there that look like Al Bundy than not. And I think as a society, we had to almost own that. Where like dad came home, sat on his ass, bossed his
Watch
wife
TV.
around, watched TV, criticized his kids, didn't really want to be involved because he worked. That kind of angle, again, was more real than anything. Was he horrible? Yes. Was it funny? Yes. But that's the only reason why I would have Al on there, because of realism. And it wasn't like, with all due respect, some of these on here, like Brady Bunch, and actually, let's put Phil Banks on there.
Number
Who's
one.
be shown. Phil,
Number one.
but there was a level of like Phil Banks, again, speaking as a black kid, there's a level of him that was real, but there was a level of him that was like Hollywoodish, if that makes sense. So like, Al Bundy was more real than Phil Banks was. How about that? I'm just gonna go there. Not that Phil Banks wasn't real, but the whole, black people living in Bel Air kind of shit. Again, that puts it in a world of like, especially back then. I mean, we got more black people, we got more rich black people now, and more middle, upper middle class black people, middle class black people. But back then, that was kind of, again, more like a fairy tale-ish type. And just so y'all know, I know, we don't like Will Smith anymore because he slapped Chris Rock, but Chris Rock probably deserves to be slapped for many other things. But that being said, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air aged fucking beautifully, y'all. It's on I'm sorry, it's on Max.
On Max.
Right, it's on Max. And if y'all want to see some really good, fun family comedy that has a whole bunch of black people in it, that shit ages well. Now, I don't know about the new Bel Air. I hear good things about that too, so you can jump in that. But I'm telling you, The Fresh Prince of Bel Air is still funny. Me and my oldest were watching it a couple weeks ago, and we were just laughing. Jokes are funny. The whole thing is great. You can get through, they're only 20 minutes, so you can get through a whole bunch. And you can see Philip Banks. He was a great. He was a good dad. He should be on that list. I don't know about that high, actually, but I'm cool. And then let's address the person that's not on there, which is Bill Cosby. Now, Bill Cosby is the only reason he's not on there, Doug. And everybody will admit that is because of his personal things. Like, if you can, and I know you can't. So I'm not saying you can. If there is a possible way to, because Cliff Huxtable had, like, part of Cliff Huxtable was Bill Cosby. Like, it was like his you know, like on it was like his real persona was Cliff Huxtable. Like he literally probably played himself as that character. It's almost like what they say, what my kids say about The Rock, Casey, which is The Rock just plays The Rock in every movie. And he never changes. It's kind of like that with Bill Cosby, where Bill Cosby's always Bill Cosby. So I understand why he's not on that list, but if he wasn't such a piece of shit human, he would probably be one or two on that list just for that character. If we can just say it's that character, then Cliff Huxtable is one or two on my list. Sorry, y'all. Hate to offend you. Comments, concerns, issues, what, Doug? What do you got for that? Because I know you wanted to talk, because y'all were both popping off about Bill before I even showed the fucking list. Go on. What are you two? Both of you, what? What do you got? Where's Cliff Huxtable in here?
Casey, you go first.
He was the right black dad at the right time is who Heathcliff Huxtable was. At the time, it was not really like you're talking about having, you know, a rich family in Bel Air. Like having a rich family at all was what basically Cliff Huxtable and George Jefferson, and that was it.
And Jefferson wasn't rich. He was just better off than them most.
I mean, I'm talking about comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes. They both were pretty rich, though. Yeah. I mean, I saw George Jefferson as like super rich. I saw him as like the millionaire when I was young. Like that's how I looked at him.
Compared to where we were coming from, yeah, for sure. That was like just what it felt like, right?
Mm-hmm. And then where's George Jefferson on the list? He was a dad, but we don't look at him as a dad. That's interesting. Go on, Doug.
I think because George Jefferson's kids were adults on that show, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Right.
So we didn't get to see him as a dad per se because his kids were adults. But you're still a dad when their kids are adults.
Probably even fucking more, right, Doug?
Oh, well, my wallet fucking says so. That's for fucking sure.
Correct. Correct. And you're parenting too, Doug. I've heard, we're not going to go in there, but I've heard enough from you about parenting things with your kids. So it's not that everyday grind where it's like 24/7 where like you're literally watching every move they make. That's not it anymore. But you're still as valuable as fuck, Doug, as a father, clearly. Even outside your wallet, buddy.
Yeah,
clearly.
I don't feel like that some days, but yes. Listen, I can't speak anything about Modern Family. I don't know it all that well. That's not one I know very well. All right. Again, this is a thing where you see very little representation out of whites, outside of white folks.
Yeah.
And that's because TV has never been about showing, not never, but has been very sparing about showing parenting outside of the white sphere. So,
and in a positive way.
In a positive way, especially. It is, that's why like Philip Banks, actually, I think is probably the best dad out of that top 10 they had, because he had a thing where he thought, like, he would say, this is what I think, and he would give you advice, but he was also kind of willing to hear your story some. That's a good father.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, like, I understand, like, and we're in a different phase now where, like, my kids would be talking to me about stuff that, like, I would never in my fucking wildest fucking dreams share my fucking, hey, this is bothering me mentally and my mental health. If I said to my dad, and my dad was not a bad father, he just was like, yeah, but that's fucking the way life is. Get the fuck over it. Work your shit out. Like, that's not how it works now. And so, like, I think Philip Banks was a little bit ahead of his time in that particular perspective, because he had Will Smith, who was a kid who was from a home that was broken. And I'm going to say broken home, which is kind of a loaded fucking term, but you know what I mean? He came out to stay with him, and he was willing to kind of show him the ropes and how to deal with life. So, like, to me, that's why I think Banks is better than any of those fucking.
But let's dive a little deeper on that. When he was willing to take in his wife's sister's kid, like the levels of like separation there alone, I'm like, okay, all right.
but can I make this point? And this is going to sound really weird, but as a white person The idea of taking in somebody else's kids is very much an outlier. That is not
Mhm.
a thing that happens at much at all in white families. I feel that
Nowadays, no.
I feel like that is something that much more happens in BIPOC and AAPI and fucking Hispanic
Yeah.
populations where they're willing to have folks come into
Sure.
their that they're just willing to take in someone who isn't actually their natural born child
Well, it's a
or
nuclear
like
family thing, right? It's separation off
very,
into a
very
box.
much
Like,
so.
okay, you build another home, you have your own separate family in your own separate space. Where traditionally, like, we're like you talk to my dad and the way he grew up, and the in and out of homes and weaving in and out and everything, and down in Jamaica is a very, very different construct. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
hear that.
Yeah, and like the other part of it is like so my kids are growing to be adults. I have two kids graduating high school, one just graduated college, and there's a bit of like, okay, well you're adults now. And as a white person, it's more like, okay, well what are you going to do? Whereas like you have a lot of constructs with families who are not white where it's like, okay, well you're an adult, but you still need our help. And not that my kids don't need our help. They do very much so, but like it's a bit of a different construct. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Like it's something where I was talking to my wife about the idea of like we've talked about emigrating because we're just kind of fucking fed up with the United States. But I'm also like, I want my kids to have a space to go in case they're fucking ostracized and in danger. So like I think to me it's more important to stay where we are so that they know they always have a home base to go to. But that's again, that's getting into different stuff, but you understand what I mean? Like the white construct of when you're 18, well, you're an adult. Go figure your shit out.
Yeah, and also, Doug, what remind something that I thought of when you were talking was especially really previous generation white folks. Like the only way, to me, look outsider looking in, the only reason or way that another white person would maybe take in someone else's kids is in a shame situation where like she got pregnant and we gotta hide her, or like you got in trouble, we need to move you out of, you know what I mean? Like she needs to disappear for a little bit and have this kid and then come back, and you know what I mean, and not feel that social anxiety that a lot of white folks feel, and some black folks feel that, but that's really like the social shaming thing was huge with white people. I think it's less than it used to be, and that's a really good thing, because the social shaming really never led to, in my opinion, better behavior. It just led people to fucking hide that shit. There's no reason to hide a pregnancy. Okay, shit happens. Don't be shaming people. You're gonna make it worse, and it's not gonna make her a better mother. What happens with the father in all this situation? So it's kind of crazy, but yeah, the idea of parenting too, especially on this list, it's kind of like evolving. So of course, our TV dads are going to evolve, or maybe not. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's a fun conversation. What's up, Casey? You gonna say something or no?
Nope, nope. I was just
Okay.
agreeing. I was like, yeah, evolving.
Um,
I was like, yeah, in one way or another.
yeah. So that's a fun list, but this is what I tell my kids. I'm like, lists aren't made to agree with; they're made to spark conversation.
100%.
So
Mhm.
they're not,
100%.
you're definitely not going to agree with every list, nor should you. So, when I put a list out or I send one to my family's thread, I'm like, I'm not saying I agree. I'm saying let's argue about it, or let's just have a conversation about it. Or, like I said this before in the stream, I'm going to say it again. I love arguing with my kids about dumb shit, because at least it creates a ground where every time we're conflicting, it's not a serious issue. So if we're conflicting about what's the latest my son and I are conflicting about, I don't know. My youngest is contrarian. He always anything I say, he's like, why? And he doesn't necessarily have to say why, Casey, especially at 17 now. He just has different ways of saying why. When he was 6 and that's all he knew, it was why, no, why, no, why, no, why, motherfucker, what? So now I can't just do the motherfucker what, because he's really, really intentional about, he's like, well, why is that? I don't really think that's the way we do it. And, and it even comes down to like cooking. I'm like, look, this is how I do it. He's like, well, I don't like doing it that way. Okay, but can you logically tell me why you don't, or is it just because it came out of my mouth? Like sometimes, and he's like, no, this is it. Or sometimes he's like, no, because I just don't agree with you. And I'm like, okay, well, you sound like the Republicans because you're just telling me no without.
Did you
Oh,
give us
I
that?
say this. Listen, when you just tell me no, you have no logic to back that up, or you have no reason to say why you're saying no. You're just like the Republicans. It's cool to just say no without any
Man,
fucking
you're
without
just
any reasons.
that is stirring the pot in like a big way.
But it's the fucking truth because Republicans say no and have no alternate plan. We've seen this, 8 years with fucking Obamacare. Now they've actually given up on that. Now we see it with Social Security. Oh, we should cut Social Security. Why? No reason. Zero reason. It's the Social Security is like
VA
this
benefits.
much. It's literally this much against our debt and all that shit. It literally is this much. And y'all want to cut this instead of cutting like the military
The tank.
or like or tax breaks for the rich or any of that shit. Now, again, I ask you, why do you want to do it? And when you have no answer, you're just like the Republicans. And yes, I mean it as the insult that it fucking is. On top of Doug, I want my kid to know what the Republicans do. I want them to know that they say no for no reason. If you say no and you have a reason, that's powerful. That's a good conversation. And it's actually something that I can attack because I can say, hey, I don't agree with that, and this is why. But when you just say no and give no reason, that I can't attack you. I can't say, not all I can say is that you're just giving no reason and you're just a fucking Republican. So I really don't care. I think it's great. And I will do it again if I go upstairs right now and he says no to me and I say, you got a reason? He says, I don't have one. You're a fucking Republican. I mean, I'd say it every time, but that's what I'm thinking. Go on.
There's no higher insult than that.
It's the truth, though. It's the truth. Gotta keep it clean. Call balls and strikes. Like I tell them, I'm here to call balls and strikes. I'm not here to be your friend, even though I am your friend. Sometimes I just have to tell you what the hell is up without any emotion. Just because you're my kid doesn't mean you're going to get away with that shit. Because if I let you get away with that shit, you're going to become an adult who wants to get away with that shit. And then they really become Republicans, Doug.
You know,
fuck that.
Speaking of kids,
My
9-year-old,
right?
my 9-year-old kind of leveled up overnight. It's just been really weird for me because he's gone from being like this kid I pour all my time and attention into because he needs stuff and whatever to like he's starting to be a little more independent, and it's weird. Now it happens, I think, to all human beings at some point in their development, hopefully. But like all of a sudden he's like, you know, he got into like he started in the swim meets and he like got to the city finals in a swim meet. He's on the track team in school. He started cooking breakfast for his brother and him. So he'll make literally scrambled egg sausages and toast for him and his brother. And he's like 9. And he's just kind of like got to this point where he's just started actually just taking initiative on things rather than me having to like needle him all the time. And I'm like, who are you? When did this happen? I like this you. I'm enjoying this you, but I don't know where it came from. Like, did I have to basically just invest many, many years of being on your ass? And all of a sudden now it's just like, click. Okay. I'm starting to understand how this all comes together because it's being a weird thing to see play out, but I'm loving it.
Yep. So my son is 17, y'all. He's not a toddler. He should be able to say no. And this is the reason no. When they were 4, I wasn't calling them Republicans. Got it, y'all? Cool. Anyway.
Great.
He's 17.
My kid is not a toddler watching.
Right. At 17. But at 17, you should be able to explain why you disagree. And if you don't, you need to turn around, go back, and come back when you do have a lesson to tell or a reason to tell me. You're 17. The gloves are off at 17. Not talking 7, y'all. I'm talking 17. And if you knew my smart aleck 17-year-old, you wouldn't be making comments like that. Doug, you know my smart aleck 17-year-old. Y'all would not be making any comments like that if you knew my 17-year-old.
He's a very opinionated human.
You see me? It's this 17, y'all. It's this 17. It's a fucking mess.
And
okay?
I'm gonna tell you,
I'm a mess that's 50. So
Like it is a thing. Like it's like the kids at that age just think that. No, listen, and I'm not saying it to sound like a boomer. I'm just saying we all thought at that age we knew everything.
Right, dog. Right, dog. Go on.
No, it's very much like like we all thought we knew better than our parents. And now listen, our kids nowadays are much more well informed than we were because they have the internet and all that shit. But there are certain things that they do not understand, and when I try to explain that to them, they just kind of like, yeah, but you're just fucking old. Like, yeah, I am, but old comes with things that you don't have, which is experience. Doesn't mean I'm right about everything. It just means that I have experienced the things you don't.
Yeah.
Let me help you.
And that's the thing. It's always from a lens of help, and they don't see it that way. You're always trying to like you in their best.
They feel like you're interfering, right?
Yeah.
Well, and there are times when I say, why'd you say no? And then he'll tell me why, and then I say, okay. Like I said, like it's not that I'm not accepting no. Is that like I want no with a reason? That's it. That's all I got. Or yes with a reason too. And sometimes they say yes, and I'm like, why'd you say yes? I just want them to be able to explain themselves. Sometimes you're not just going to be able to get by with just saying yes or no. You're going to have to say, hey, this is why. This is why I feel this way. And I want you to be able to express yourself and not feel that I'm shutting you up. I just say no or yes. So yeah, that's easy. Anyway, yeah, Doug, are we watching anything, Doug? You're always watching something.
You know,
Doug.
I got something. You know,
Doug, you're always watching something, right? So that's why I got to do this thing once I find it. So besides watching the Heat deteriorate away, what are you watching, Doug?
I'm not sure I want to dignify that with a response.
I'm rooting for the Heat, by the way. Boston needs to go to hell away. So I'm not. Yeah, I'm just ribbing you a little bit while I have the idea. It'd probably be all gone tomorrow, and we can move on. But what's going on, Doug? So what is this?
So much. This is something called Chow
What
House.
the fuck is this?
Alex Carnicelli and some guy named Gabrielle, who is apparently some high level Italian chef. It's basically like a Survivor version of chefing, or maybe Top Chef kind of deal, where they go to Tuscany and they cook with all these Italian ingredients, and they can only cook Italian dishes. And it's like it's interesting because like I like Italian food, as most Americans do. Problem is, we think Italian food is like Americanized Italian food, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
This is like actual Italian food. So basically, it's down to 4 people at this point. No, 2 people, because it was the last episode was like the semifinals, and then the team that lost, both of those people got eliminated. And one of the people that was on the team that got eliminated is known as like the pasta person. And the guy that was like in charge of that meal said, make this pasta with this sort of flour. And that person goes, I've never worked with that flour. It's chestnut flour. Who the fuck works with chestnut flour? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's weird. It's interesting because you're just finding all these things. It's like, I don't know. The guy that was the best chef there got booted out because he made one mistake. And the other people on the team were like, we need to get him out because he's better than us, which is how shit like these.
Damn.
So, yeah, it sucks in that respect, but like, it's an interesting show. So that's what I've been watching.
As someone, I actually watched the Survivor finale yesterday, or Wednesday. As someone who watches Survivor, that's the shitty part about it. But that's also, it's part of the game, y'all. Like, if you're good and we're afraid of you, you gotta go. And this year, that's what I was watching Survivor. This year, I don't know if any of y'all watched Survivor this year, but like, it was clear again to me that the winner was someone that y'all needed to get out so long ago, and y'all just let him hang and let him hang and let him do his shit, and he got to the end and he won, and everybody's all surprised, and I'm like, why are y'all surprised? He played the best.
That happens all the time.
Right.
There's one person who always just strings shit along and figures out how to stay in.
But that's the point, though, Doug. You have to get rid of those people, even if they're the best. Quote the best. You have to, or they're going to win. That's how it works. So anyway, that's it. Casey, are you watching anything non-American that you can talk about? Because
Not American.
Kids in the Hall.
yeah, anything
That's,
cool?
that's a really specific reference.
Hey, it's Canadian.
I mean,
What do you want?
We do the entertainments well, but some of our shit gets like overdone. It gets like it's like the same. Sometimes it feels like it's the same shit. It feels like every movie's a comic book movie. It feels like every show is a reality show. So I mean, we do good TV. Don't get me wrong, we do.
I mean,
Now we have like 17 channels. What's going
I've
on?
been watching season 2 of Abbott Elementary, which is being nice, and it's a light, fun watch. I really enjoy it.
Okay.
Quinta Brunson's show, and it's fun just seeing how it all develops and everything. I recently finished up the last season of Snowfall, which I feel like it started off really well, and then as the seasons went on, it just kind of went in so many different directions. But yeah, Abbott Elementary is kind of like my nice casual watch. There's anime I'm watching as well, as one does. But yeah, I feel like I'm at the dregs of my streaming journey right now, where I'm just kind of like I watch most things I want to watch. People are like, one guy who was on the team I'm leaving right now was like, so with all this time off, you're gonna catch up on shows. I'm like, do you not see me up working like every night? Like I have a show playing while I do all that work every night. I've caught up on literally everything I want to watch for the most part. Yo, new Demon Slayer is so good. I warmed up to it. Like my funny story on that one is that my 13-year-old nephew, I was trying to tell him what the best anime are. It's like, Naruto's really good, One Piece is good. He's like, that's all old people anime. I was like, I was like, I am shook. He's like, Demon Slayer is so good. And I watched the first season of it and I was like, but as the seasons have progressed, that anime has gotten much better. And I'm waiting for a few others.
There's also a movie for that too, by the way.
A couple movies.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I'm waiting for new stuff to come out, like Jujutsu Kaisen and other things. But yeah, we can have an entire conversation around that. If you want to talk nerdy,
no, because I don't know anything about that shit. I just don't for my kids talking about it.
I will educate you on all the things, Doug. Don't worry.
I don't because I don't like anime. It's not my jam. But
can I bring up a show that I've never watched, but I hear is coming to an end? No spoilers, y'all. But I hear a lot of people are sad about Ted Lasso. Is that over now?
I heard the season 1 was good, and then after that, it wasn't great. I haven't watched it yet.
But is this series over soonish, right, Doug?
I think it's coming to the end in the next episode. And I watched the first season, and the first season was awesome. The problem is, like, when it comes to comedy stuff, I'm a really hard sell. Give me fucking dystopia and fucking sci-fi and horror, and I'll watch the fuck out of that. But like when it's funny stuff, I have a real hard time sticking with it.
Okay, yeah, and JC, I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't think it was the series ending or the series.
No, I thought they were ending. I thought they were ending this year. That was the whole.
I thought that they were ending. I thought that's what I heard too. So
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
And maybe I'm wrong too. I've never seen a show, but I hear good things. People are still. I heard the last episode. People were like,
"Oh yeah, no, it is
on
ending."
Twitter going crazy.
Maybe. Oh. It says the internet is divisive.
Oh, okay.
Well, what?
But I said I'm hearing series finale on May 31st is what I'm seeing with a quick search.
So look, yeah, JC, the last episode made him tear up. So I don't know if that's coming to an end, but if it is, that's a great one. From what I hear, I can go by all of your things. All y'all love it.
By the way, Apple
it's going to be something
man,
I get to event.
It's
going to be something. It's going to be something that I get to at some point. Is Lasso. But Apple Doug, if it's
really it.
If it's hold on real quick. If it's at the end of if it's at the end of a series, and I know it is, then that really is when I queue it up. So I might start watching. Yeah, hell yeah. I still haven't gotten to a whole bunch though, Doug. But whatever. But no. Apple Plus, Doug, you want to talk about that?
No, I'm just gonna say Apple Plus has been the shit for a bit. It has been. They've had Severance, Ted Lasso. I'm watching Silo now, which is a goddamn great sci-fi show. I mean, just a bunch of stuff that they have. They've Shrinking, which is I've not watched it. That's a funny show. Again, for me, funny shows are kind of particular. It's really hard for me to watch them. to kind of just get through it, because apparently I just want to be sad or mad, and I don't want to have to actually be funny. And I turned GHG onto Silo. Every Friday morning I actually watch that while I'm working. When the episode comes out, that's how good that show is. The other thing is like Black Mirror is coming out in like a month or two. I can't wait till that new series. Goddamn, I love that show.
Black Mirror. I have so many feelings on this one because it started off so well as a British version, and then season 3 had gems, and then it just kind of felt like it was like
yeah, that was a little topsy turvy for sure.
Yeah, I feel like
and season 5-ish. Season 4 were both. Now there were some gems in that for sure,
100%.
But the season 5, the last season they had, was probably their weakest season.
Yes, agreed.
But
they're coming back out swinging.
Yeah, but the COVID hit, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't want to make things more depressing for people." Like, probably a wise choice. Like the guy that makes those shows said, "I specifically don't want to make more depressing stuff."
That's a good call. Oh,
so now seeing it, I am super psyched to see what they come up with.
Okay, let's talk about COVID. Let's talk about the world emergency ending for a second, because I was just
can I do one more watching thing real quick?
Yes.
Then we'll move.
I'm just guesting, bro. It's your show. Go ahead.
No. It's our show, motherfucker. Just so you know. But there's one more thing, because I don't think I can come back from this. But I know I'm late to this party, but my family or me and the boys really enjoyed this one last week.
Oh
wow!
Good movie.
And it's funny because I haven't ever seen it. So I just told the kids today. I was watching this whole thing, and I didn't think I would ever see a dead body. I just thought that it was never going to, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it was never going to get to that point. Like, the whole point was leading up to the dead body, and like, we're going to get there, and there was just going to be a letdown, like the cops were going to be there, or like someone had moved it or some shit. So when it actually got to the point that there was actually a dead body, I was like, oh shit, this show's pretty fucking great. It's pretty fun. It was just great. The dialogue in it is great. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Seinfeld, where at the end of it, it felt like it was a show about nothing. But if you look back, it was about relationships. It was just about like different ways that kids think and navigate. And especially back in that time when we grew up, it was kind of like when we grew up too. So I just want to let y'all know, if you've never seen it or you want to see it again, it's aged pretty well. And my kids even said that. I like, Casey, real quick, I like with, I show my kids these Saturday afternoon bangers. I call them matinee. What they are is they're movies that happened before they were born. So anything before 2004,
you have to show them Fight Club.
So I've eventually. But actually though, Casey, what I actually started to realize is that like it almost becomes like a thing of, did this show age well? And like because if my kids can accept it as young adults, then what I mean, it aged well. So Jaws aged well, E.T. aged well, Batman 65 aged like hell apparently. There was another one that sucked. Actually, Doug, I'm pretty sure this Saturday is going to be Mad Max. Actually, in honor of R.I.P. Tina Turner. We had to mention her fucking badass tonight, because she was such a badass. Especially how
at Thunderdome.
Especially, I don't care. Especially as I could care less really. Especially as a badass coming from abuse and just becoming the fucking superstar that she was then and she was after. She's just a fucking gem of a human being. So I'm glad I was able to talk about that and somehow sparked me to talk about Tina Turner, because I would have been pissed off if I didn't mention her passing on this stream. She's a fucking icon. She was a fucking beautiful human being. She was someone that Black people could absolutely look up to, someone that we love to look up to. And she was just a badass. There's just so many bangers that she has. Like, you go down her list and like she's got so many good songs, out of control. So anyway, Casey, I just wanted to finish that up. Check out Stand By Me. Check out Tina Turner's fucking discography, the whole damn thing. You haven't heard all of her songs. She had a gazillion of them, y'all. Go back. Have a good weekend with Tina Turner. And Casey, you wanted to talk about the end of COVID, right?
Well, now I'm gonna be playing We Don't Need Another Hero on repeat. Damn.
Yes, love that one. Love that one.
Good song.
And I like the typical male too.
Yeah. Oh, Typical Male's a great one.
But yes, and Mad Max was the reason. But yeah, it's not the Thunderdome, but it'll lead into it. I didn't know if y'all know that real quick. That Mad Max series is the #1 series on Metacritic. The whole series rated. It's the #1 series. Little did you know. So that would put that on my radar. That's what put Mad Max on my radar. And I think I can get them all in, but the last one is not. They were born for the last one. That one that came out a couple years ago. Anyway, Casey, the WHO says that COVID is over. Well, they didn't say that. But what do you want to talk about?
I was just, it's
they didn't say that.
I know, but it's insane
Fake
to
news,
think that
fake news.
we're like at the point where it's like we're past this global emergency, and it's like almost yes, Lauren, it's basically a thing of the past. We're kind of going back to normal, getting ready to, ringing in our summer of outdoors and doing all the things. But it's just like I think we quickly forget just like how insane it was for a while. Like everything kind of normalized, and I'm like, for like a year or two there, like I know I was at the point almost. I think it was summer 2021. I almost lost my shit. Like it was bad. I took like 2-3 months to recover from like just doing the most to try and keep myself mentally sane. And I needed like a few months to get back to a point where I was like, okay, I could like deal again. But shoot, like it's nothing I obviously want to revisit, but I'm just at the same time like, man, we really try to move past this as like quickly as possible.
I ain't gonna lie, man. The first year I wasn't that bothered. I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't. It was cool. Like maybe it's because I'm normally at home.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoyed not being around that many people. I actually enjoyed connecting online more. I actually enjoyed all that. I really did actually. But I think it got to a point. Everyone got to a point to where it was too much. Some it was immediate. And some, and it depends. To me, it really depends on your lifestyle. If you lived a lifestyle where you were never in your house and then you were told to stay there all the fucking time, then I'm sure immediately, critically, it was bad. Or like single life people, or even people who are married without kids, who live or even empty nesters like Doug and Daryl are.
Oh, we're not there yet. Don't give me that.
I said pretty much. If you wouldn't cut me off, you might have heard it. Anyway. No, I think it was really more about lifestyle. Yeah. And Casey, you spoke to it. But it's just really refreshing to be out, not having to feel I have to wear a mask, even though I still mask up in some places. And I still feel very uncomfortable in a lot of places that there's a lot of people. And I think it was somewhat recently that my family, I can't remember the instance, but we rolled up to a place to go eat, and we all looked at each other like, nah. Where's the second place? It was just too packed, and we just didn't feel like being in spaces. And I think that that's been a good part about COVID, Casey, is that like, it gives like you feel less anxiety or stress about backing out of a place that you know what I mean? Like before you would just trudge ahead. You'd be like, all right, we'll just wait a couple minutes. No worries. Or we'll just stand in here when everybody's walking by. And now COVID has kind of taught us to like, you don't got to deal with that bullshit. Like, go to another place. Like, chill. It doesn't really give you an excuse, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes it a little bit, I don't know, more palatable to just be like, and then, I don't know, sometimes our kids trigger it. Our youngest is like, he's still the mask wearer. Not mostly, but he still he's probably going to be the person that most likely wears the mask out of the house at this point, out of everybody. And sometimes he's just like, I'm not feeling this. And then we're all like, look at each other like, okay, that's cool. Like, it's not even like normally we'd be like, no, well, you're gonna, like, parents, we're here, we're gonna do it, almost like because I said so without saying because I said so. But now it's more like, he's like, I'm not feeling it here, and we're like, okay, and then that's again, me, I'm like, because I already explained myself. I'm like, so you have any ideas about where we should go? And then he'll be like, yeah, we should go here. Let's try here. Let's try another place. I'm like, cool. So then we do it. So how are y'all dealing with that? I mean, are y'all do you agree with me as far as like it's
I do.
easier to back
I
out? And
I think, I've said this a number of times over the last few years that the pandemic really gave me a better sense of who my children are instead of just like what I need to do for them as their dad, like, and just show up for these events, check the things off the list. I now understand who my children are as individual people. And so if they want to do things a little differently, if something doesn't vibe right and things like that, I'm willing to hear them out. I'm like, all right, what do you want to do instead? And they're getting to a point where they start to have legitimate suggestions of what can be done instead of
right.
just being like, I feel like this is bad and I'm gonna throw a tantrum. It's like, no, I rather just like, instead of going to a family function, maybe they feel uncomfortable for whatever reason. Maybe they had a run-in with a cousin. Like, can we just sit with this one out or stay home? And I'll be like, sometimes I can be like, yeah, all right. And sometimes I'm finding a lot more flexibility now. I think that's one of the I don't want to use, like, gifts might not be the right word, but I think one of the things that came out of the pandemic is definitely the willingness to have that conversation around what actually serves our family. Like, instead
Right.
of blanket statements and blanket approaches to things, what actually brings us, what we need to live, I guess the best life that we can collectively.
Yep. Doug, are you having any are your parents, I don't know if you heard what you heard, but I was just explaining that. So there are still instances where we will back out of a place, we'll show up to a place and it'll be too packed and we're like, no, we're not doing this. Or we'll
Same.
just say, hey, we're gonna get y'all still having those conversations in those times,
Sure.
Doug, or what's going on?
Sure.
Anything recent you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. It's like one of those things where like it's too many people. Like remember when the day you'd be like, oh well, that's packed, and they'd be like, well, the wait is 30 minutes, and I'd be like, well, that's just gonna mean the place is packed. I don't want to do that. So we tend to go to places that are less packed, or we will order and I will pick it up and bring it home. That is the kind of thing. Now, granted, when we eat out, I generally we don't eat out quite nearly as much as we used to
Yeah,
because
same.
of the idea of I can't control what's the sodium content in anything I order, whereas where I make it at home, I know what's in it. So the thing is, like, if I know we're going to order out, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have Honey Nut Cheerios and for breakfast and a salad for lunch because I know what the fuck I'm gonna like. Tonight I had pizza. I had 2 pieces of pizza, but that's my limit. I do 2 pieces of pizza, but I had salad for lunch. And then I had 1 egg and a piece of toast and strawberries for breakfast. So like it's different, like in the perspective, like from the COVID perspective, like I just don't want to be in a place that's super crowded. Like that's
Right.
not something I ever want to do anymore. That's the thing is I'm a very social person. So like me being in a crowd of people used to not be a problem. Now it is. Now
Yeah.
it's something like I just don't want to be in that. Like Greg and I have both been in the same space of like, hey, we have heart conditions now, so we have to be really
Mm-hmm.
concerned. So,
Mm-hmm.
like me specifically, it's like, okay, well, if it's going to be super busy, probably not going to go. That's okay.
So this is it's a COVID thing, but it's also a heart thing, Doug.
Yeah.
And you sometimes don't have this. Obviously, sometimes it's just you and Jill. But Casey, again, we talked about this before, and I don't know how it is in Canada. I do want you to address it. But what we've been doing, Doug, a lot is now we'll share dishes. So we got 4 people in our family. We literally sometimes only order 2 entrees, and then split those entrees, and then have 1 appetizer, and we all split that. And then I can get some good junk food, Doug, but it's so limited. It's like half a sandwich. Even if I want to eat that whole sandwich, that
Yeah.
motherfucker over there is eating the other half. So I can't.
Dude,
I can be looking over at his thing, and it's not like it used to be when they were 4 Casey or 7, where like they would only eat half their chicken fingers, and I'd be over here like eating the rest of them and shit.
down there.
Right. Now it's really literally a split, and or like we'll make sure we get a large pizza, and everybody gets 2 slices. So there's no way for me to eat that 3rd slice or to sneak it later when everybody goes to sleep or any of that shit because my family's looking at me like, motherfucker. Like I get those looks. I get those motherfucker looks, especially from the youngest, Doug. He's He's one of the worst
Well,
shamers
he doesn't want
of
you to
my
fucking
food.
die, dude. Like he
Um,
doesn't want you to
what?
die. That's a good thing. He doesn't want you
No,
to die.
Let me,
That's a good thing.
let me finish. I was gonna say that. I mean, it's cool, but motherfucker is like the worst shaming me, and that's great. I was gonna say it's great. It's not a bad thing, but he's a motherfucker. Like he won't say anything, but the side eye is strong with this motherfucker, Casey. The side eye gets worse, Casey, as they get older.
American food size portion sizes frighten.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about.
Honestly,
So y'all don't
the
have
sizes.
that shit.
We
Y'all
don't
don't have that shit.
Honestly, I feel like if anything, while things cost a pretty penny, when it comes to food, our portion sizes, I feel like just kind of like they are what they're supposed to be. So when it comes down to ordering entrees, like you can order a single entree and it will be largely enough. Whereas every time we go, like there's definitely is different at a state level. Different states do it differently. But I remember having gone to Chicago. Chicago is a great example, right? Chicago, Texas, New Orleans to a degree.
New
Several other
Orleans.
places where it's like I order a meal and I'm just kind of like, how am I supposed to eat like Vegas buffets or like even not like Vegas, like some Vegas
buffets are
spots?
out. Buffets are
Yeah,
out.
yeah, not buffets. Let me take that one out.
out.
But like, let me take certain Vegas restaurants as well. I'd like get a plate of food, and it's like, I'm used to like a plate, like maybe like this size plate here, and it's like almost like this size, a huge thing, and it's like multi-level. Like instead of it being like a 1-level dish, it's like a 3-level dish. I'm like, is this the consumption of one person? This thing I ordered? I am very confused. Like I can have, it's places I've gone to, I almost have to make sure that anywhere I stay in the States has a microwave or an oven because I know I'm eating that thing for 3 days.
Yes.
Oh, dude, that's how I am. Like I order food and goddamn, it's at least 2 different meals. At least.
Yeah. And that's why I got Share Buddies and I love it. But don't get me started. That's where we met or that's where I met you, Casey, is in New Orleans. And don't get me started on fucking New Orleans. Oh my
New Orleans
God.
food is fucking delicious, but goddamn.
Right, but it's like
it'll kill you.
It's literally you can order one entree for 3 of it, like shrimp and grits. All 3 of us can eat the whole fucking shrimp and grits.
Fuck grits.
All of us can eat shrimp and grits. Whatever. Po' boys, whatever. Jambalaya
is a problem.
The point isn't the deal. The point is that like the fucking shrimp or grits is like this big. It's like
it is. It's fucking like
crazy.
Here's this giant plate.
Crazy. It's insane. That's why when you said New Orleans, I was just rolling my eyes.
Well, I mean, honestly,
I can't.
I will say that part of this entire health journey, this health and wellness journey that I've been on, is now I'm just like a lot pickier about what I eat. In that, like, there's the health aspect of it for sure, but also like I know that if I'm going to eat something that's going to be like not as ideal for me, it's got to be fucking worth it. I can't just go like just anything. I gotta be like pick and choose. Like even when I got a pizza tonight, I was like, all right, I can get like go around the corner and get this like $10, $11 pizza that I know is good, but I know it's like horrible for me. Or I'm gonna go like walk like 5 blocks and get the one made with like natural ingredients and everything, and it just like sits a lot better because I think the big thing is being now that I'm eating a lot healthier, I can feel what my body feels like when I eat like shit. Yep. And it's like a lot more pronounced where I'm just like, this was the worst idea. And I try to avoid it at all costs.
Immediately regret this decision.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this getting older stuff is fun.
Greg, I don't know if you feel the same way. It's like one of those things where you just go, all right, well, if I'm gonna order pizza, I'm not gonna order fucking give me the $5 pizza from fucking Little Caesars. If I'm going to spend my calories and my sodium intake, I'm going to get some good fucking pizza. There's this place near me that just opened up like 6 months ago, and they make Chicago tavern style pizza. They make Detroit style pizza. They make New York style pizza. And then there's another style they make that's completely different. But it's like these different things. Like I'm going to tell you, I never had Detroit style pizza until I ordered it from there. And Detroit style pizza is a fucking just my word. Why have I not tried that before? It is just awesome. And what's funny is when we got it, my wife's like, "Oh, well, I'll try that too." And she's like, "So basically, like Pizza Hut pizza, like the old Pizza Hut pizza where they bring it out in that fucking thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, it looks like that. It tastes 50 times better than Pizza Hut pizza." But even so, I'm like, "All right, that shit's delicious, but I'm gonna have 2 slices, and that is all I'm gonna have." And it's a weird. Whereas before, I'd be like, "I'm gonna eat this whole fucking pizza." I can't do that shit anymore. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like JHG.
Hey, you know what, JG? You're a healthy motherfucker. Good
Right.
on you. I wish I could do that. I wish I could do
But
that. I do.
well, JHG's gonna eat a whole pizza and then jump on his bike for an hour. So like
Yeah, he'll bike for fucking
literally,
goddamn 3
literally,
hours and be like, "Yeah,
literally.
great."
Right. So but Lauren, you makes a good point. It was a personal pizza. So there you go. JHG's like, this is true. All right. And what else is true is that we're gonna be getting out of here soon, y'all.
Yeah.
Doug, we usually do this thing that we do. We usually do this thing, something
Oh
like
shit.
this. So this
Hey,
one,
you go first because I set my cans away. I'll be right back.
this one is fantastic. It's a Galaxy Smash. I'm pretty sure that I drank the whole thing during my friend Kenny. He's not my friend. I don't know him, but I would love to be his friend actually because he's a good dude. But he was
Tired of Joe Biden. Like, in real time, I'm over here at the gas pump, then fill up my gas. As I drive off, I'm seeing in real time the gas price changed from $4.06 to $3.99. This some bullshit. Like, See, so, we gotta blame him. We got to, because here's the thing. He controls the gas prices. I saw a sticker on the pump that said I did that. So it's gotta be him. He's making me waste money. I could have waited 5 more fucking minutes and could have got the $3.99 price. Wait a minute. What you mean? Joe Biden don't control gas prices. He the president. But the last 5 months, y'all been saying that Joe Biden controls gas prices though. He the president. He does that. What done changed now? Because the price is going down, that is not him. But when it was going up, it was. Y'all need to make up your mind. Who do I blame for this? Because I wanted that $3.99.
Anyway, I wish Kenny was my friend. He's on my wannabe friend list. But anyway, I drank this whole damn thing while Kenny was going off about the debt thing, which still hasn't been resolved, Casey. And Joe Biden says it's close and all that shit. I don't fucking care. Get it done. Y'all fucking out of your minds. But this Galaxy Smash thing is great. And apparently I love Galaxy Hop Stug because that shit went down like fucking water. This Hop Mad Butcher was great too. These are both Mankato Brewing out of Minnesota. We had nice things to say about Minnesota tonight too. That was really good. And then I don't have any issue. They were all pretty good. They were all IPAs. I had to some point, Casey, you got to go through your beer fridge, pick out all your IPAs, drink those motherfuckers before they get old. So that's what I did tonight. That's why it's all IPA night. DDH, IPA, ABC, BBD. East Coast family. This was really good too. Microphone is a banger. So I had a good night with the IPAs. Now I'm going to have to drink a whole lot of water and avoid a whole bunch of calories, Doug. Tis the season, and that's what we have to do. Casey Mo, you next. What besides water were you drinking in your dungeon? Your Masters of the Universe dungeon with He-Man and Skeletor.
Until next time.
I'm gonna decorate the hell out of this. One time, y'all gonna see.
Y'all know He-Man was gay, right? Y'all know that, right? Okay, cool.
Sure, he was.
He was very gay. He was very gay. Don't tell those
that
fucking
loincloth enough was to.
Don't tell those snowflakes on the right. They'll really get upset. What's up, Casey?
Just had the one beer. Redline Brew House, the top down lemonade shandy. I liked it. It was a good one.
Okay.
4.2, so it went down smooth, and used flaked oats. So it was a good one. The description is sunshine in a can, a bright and crisp light ale, blended with a cool, refreshing summer favorite. Serve ice cold under warm sun and in good company. Well, I did 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Right,
Meatloaf.
right.
All right.
And you still need the good company because Doug and I'm not sure.
I'm in the lack of warm sun.
We knew that, I think. Go on, Doug. What's going on?
All right.
Y'all got the sun up there? Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
starting off with the double, like I said, it's my least favorite Belgian style. It's a bit sweet. So not my jam. The can, which was the Imperial Stout with like fucking licorice and blackstrap molasses, vanilla, and chocolate. Second favorite. My favorite
Vanilla.
one, yeah. So my favorite one was the Oak Marzen lager. This was really, really good. So yeah, good shit.
So I got a question for y'all before we get out of here. I used to eat those Uno's deep dish pan pizzas in one sitting. Do y'all still have Uno's?
Yeah,
I know that is.
There's one in Scranton, I think.
Yours? Okay. Is the last one near here closed recently? So I didn't know if it was
not really a great place to eat.
No, I was just asking about it though. I don't know. It was to me, Uno's is another place that was banging when we were kids and just went downhill.
Can I tell you a funny story about the one time I took my kids to eat there, and I'm getting ready to pay the bill, and all of a sudden the alarm goes off in the entire place, and that's because my kids pulled an alarm by the gate. What the fuck is going on? And they're like,
how old?
They were 4 and 6. They were
excellent.
Little. They had no idea what they were doing.
Excellent. And where was the father with the 4 and 6-year-old running around pulling fire extinguishers?
Hey, by the way, I was paying the bill for them to eat.
Okay. So you didn't have them on a leash? What's going on?
People that do that.
That's my judgmental face, Casey. Am I doing good at it?
You're good. You're so good at it. You're doing so well.
Okay. Right. That's my dad judgmental face. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'll ask y'all the next question I got once I hit this end broadcast button. But we want to thank y'all.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it'll keep us here for another half an hour.
Yeah, Casey, thank you so much for jumping on, dude.
No problem.
Yeah, Doug, do you want to talk about me? Doug, do you want to talk a little? We didn't mention our guest that we were supposed to have. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit because we didn't address it.
Sure. Very briefly, our guest that we were supposed to have tonight, her son had a high fever, so she needed to take care of him and make sure he was okay. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. That's your kid. You need to do that. So they're going to reschedule. We'll have them on. It was Joe Krause. It's super fascinating person. I can't wait to have her on. So yeah, but Casey, man, thanks for stepping up and joining us. This has been fucking awesome. Thanks for being here.
Right.
Such a good
time,
guys.
Doug, what we're gonna do is we're gonna book fake guests and then we're gonna peer pressure Casey into filling in for him.
Oh, that's great. We're gonna have Joanna fucking Miles. Hey, Joanna Miles bailed on us. Casey, you want to jump on?
Right.
Yeah.
And I just told the fucking plan, so now we can't do that shit. But
I'll still fall for it. Don't worry.
Another great night. Yes, it's great to see Casey. And again, y'all liked it because I'm telling you, the numbers were high, Casey. High. So unlike the Heat's chances at the end of the series. Sorry, Doug.
I cannot.
I just gotta bug Doug because again, I think tomorrow's going to be over. They're going to win tomorrow, and then they're just going to go to the finals, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
They're going to win, and they're going to win the series. And
No.
It's going to happen.
Fuck the Celtics. I can't say enough. Fuck all Boston teams.
I'm so behind because I was out on.
It can't happen.
I was on Sunday watching the game, and they were destroying the Celtics. So when I looked at it today, it was 3-2. I was like, I'm sorry, what happened?
Right.
What did I miss?
The
Oh my God.
The Celtics played great the last 2 games. They really did.
Right. Oh yeah,
And
they did. They came out like
and then Miami is missing
no.
2 guys who are there. No, fuck off, JSG. Fuck you.
Right.
Boston's had enough fucking championship.
Wow.
Fuck them all the way to the end of the earth. Period.
Oof.
They deserve no more titles. Sorry.
Well, this is Casey. This is someone that I told my kids is one. I describe Doug as one of the nicest white men you'll ever meet. I'm not lying, actually. I literally have said this to my family, and he's really living up to it tonight.
I just cannot. I've never been very tolerant of Boston sports teams, and their Boston fans are the fucking worst.
How to trigger Doug is to do this, Casey. It's really that simple.
Otherwise, I'm a very easygoing person.
Right. But you just cuss JHG out.
And JHG's like the nicest human on the planet.
I know, so why'd you cuss him out? Right. You just cussed him out.
Because fuck Celtics. Fuck them. Fuck them with a goddamn 10-foot pole.
Wait. Hold on. Like, I'm married to a Dutch woman. I know a stroopwafel. I'm very interested by the context of this right now.
There's a stroopwafel beer.
There's a stroopwafel beer that he was going to send us.
Yes.
And listen, JHG.
By a black-owned brewery.
Yes.
And they only distribute around JHG. So JHG was nice enough to go grab some for us because Doug and I were like all slobbering over to one thing. So now JHG was nice enough to get it. Now Doug has put that in jeopardy.
Have you guys had
baby?
Do not send it to Greg because of me.
Have you guys had stroopwafel before?
I love it, Shepherd.
Oh yeah. Are you fucking
okay?
kidding me?
I just want to make sure.
I'm white. I'm Scandinavian white, motherfucker. What do you think? Do you think I've done that before?
And Doug, look, Lauren is moving in on your stroopwafel. Look at that. Right. Look, Lauren's moving in. Lauren is taking advantage.
Hey, listen.
Right.
Lauren, if you can get it, right. I love you. You can have it. And I get it.
Yeah. Can we get that on a business card? The nicest white man you'll ever meet.
No. I don't want that on any business card about me. Don't do that.
Look at that. Lauren is here to help. She can take the beer in case, right?
You know, Lauren, I sent you some fucking really high gravity beers, and this is how you do me. I see how it is.
I feel like we did okay till like the 2 hours and 34-minute mark, and then we're just like, no.
It's off the rails. It has to go off the rails at some point, right, y'all? Right. Well, look. Well, he did get a 4-pack. Look at that. So there's 3 to give away if you're so nice. Unlike Doug, who's just cussing people out left and right.
Are you kidding me that my goal to get a beer is that I have to kiss
a masshole's asshole?
No. Oh, sorry. Sorry, JHG. I love you. You're a good dude. But I'm not going to kiss your ass about it. I'm just not.
He's a masshole, though. He even says he's a masshole, just like Mallory O'Mara.
Yeah, she does.
Shout out to Mallory O'Mara, who's got a new book.
Asshole from Massachusetts is a masshole?
Yeah, it's a masshole. Yes. And Casey, the worst thing about it is that they self-proclaim this shit. Like, they wear it as a badge of honor. They're proud to be called massholes. So, I don't know what you do with that, but yeah, love you, Doug.
I said I love you too, Lord. It's good.
Let's make some trades. I'm pretty sure Jack is just getting started.
Yeah. Well, listen, I will say Lauren sent me some fucking awesome beer the last time, so I owe her. So
right. So if she sneaks a stroopwafel from you, you're fine. But you kind of deserved it with that cussing out. It's pretty
yeah, good, listen, fuck the Celtics. Period.
And on that note, we will see y'all next week with a guest that we don't know. But we will see. It might be Casey.
It might be Casey again.
You never know, depending on if his family abandoned him or not. Yeah. And again, given in a dungeon, you just throw him in a dungeon and leave him there, right, y'all?